Bosch early? It's more likely than you might think. What's up? Does it feel a little bit bright in here? Anyone else feel like it's a little bit bright in the camera? Maybe? Windows did an update. You know, every time Windows does an update, something gets changed. Something. It's ridiculous. A tiny bit? Don't even know why. Don't even know why. You know what? What if I turn the lights down? That looks good. Let me make sure. Nice. That'll do. What's up, everyone? How are we doing today? I'm exhausted. I've been socializing all day. You know? Ended stream, socialized, fell asleep, woke up, socialized, stream again. My God, when do I get to take a break from my incredibly difficult life of live streaming and hanging out with my close friends? It does get tiring. What's up? Honestly, Thana, Dylan said thank you for the support in boosting his monetization issue. Oh, that's very flattering. That's very kind. I'm very happy to hear that he has been remonetized by YouTube. The only reason he was ever demonetized is because, I don't know, Russian bots? Genuinely, I have no idea. Insane. Does your t-shirt cost as much as my electric bill today? Maybe if you live like Diogenes and use basically no electricity, you know, maybe if you live a Spartan lifestyle. Thank you, Faux Real. Really appreciate that. Stream not working on the site for some reason? I'm pretty sure it is. Otherwise, the people in chat wouldn't be talking to me the way they are. Thanks, Jazz Dog. The shirt looks soft. The shirt is soft. Thank you. Putin had some funny boats today in Florida. Yeah, I saw. Russian warships spotted near Florida arrive in Havana. Nice. The Russian flotilla. I hope they're having a good time out there. Do we believe in, there we go. The crazy thing is that this probably looks really intimidating to civilians, but if you know literally anything about the American Navy, this is pathetic. Like, this is nothing compared to an American carrier group, you know? Like, it's like nothing. It's less than nothing, you know? It'd be like a fly against the windshield of a carrier group. Yeah, 4 times 0. Yeah, apparently they, on their way to Havana, they decided to park off the coast of Florida and just have a good time. You know? World War II ass fleet, yeah. Well, hey, when do you think those ships were built? Where was that map that I saw? Somebody was tracking it. One of the 4 ships is a tugboat. Listen, let them have their fun. Here we go. This is the a flight tracker on a U.S. Navy plane circling around where the flotilla was moving. See? Are they just allowed on U.S. seas? Oh, no. No. If they entered U.S. naval waters, that would be an act of war. They were off the coast. They were out in international waters. What is it, 20 miles? Anyway, what matters is that they're having fun. Why were they there? They wanted to do some showboating on their way to Havana. Meaningless, you know, not anything to be concerned about. They were just being a little bit silly. Ex-KGB spy worried about Russian warships near Florida. Why? With this kind of tension we have, there's always the possibility of an accidental launch. Oh, what a fucking hack. Yeah. Go on the news stations, rile everyone up. Oh yeah, man, Russian warships off the coast of Florida. What if they accidentally hit the big one? Come on. Jesus. Everyone loves to fearmonger. Yeah, 26 nautical miles from the coast. There we go. So they were in international waters. Why the hell are they going to Cuba rather than being prepared for the war they're in? A couple of reasons. For one, those ships are not useful in the combat they're having with Ukraine. All of those ships could be destroyed from a great distance with ATACMS or any one of a number of long-range options that we provided. You know, those are useless in the current conflict. It's more about, I don't know, presenting a kind of global front of solidarity against Western hegemony. You know, the idea that like, hey, America, you know, we're right here, we're right next to Cuba. Remember, we tried to put nukes in Cuba before, we spooked you then. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Yeah. They also keep losing ships to a nation without a navy. Yeah. It's embarrassing. I wouldn't care too much. Nah, some admiral wanted a vacation. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. You know, there's literally like documentation on this. After the Soviets started building cooperation with Castro in Cuba, you know, during the 60s and stuff, one of the best tours that you could get as a Soviet soldier would be stationed over in Cuba because it's like a beautiful country, you know? And there was an entire, you know, like how interracial pornography in America is kind of dominated by the fear of white men of being like cucked by sexually virile black men. There was a whole like wave of international or interracial fetishism built on the idea of like, yo, Sergey, if you get deployment to Cuba, you meet beautiful Afro-Latina chicks, you know, like these beautiful Cuban women with their big hair, and they're like, I don't know. No, it was like a thing. It was like, oh man, you got to get deployed in Cuba, you know, because that's where all the baddies are, and many such cases. Isn't Cuba an ass country? No, I don't think so. I would say, considering the historical circumstances and what Cuba has faced, I would say that it holds up remarkably well. Those ships wouldn't be allowed into the Black Sea either. Yes, that's also true, of course. Russia can't just bring any vessel at once into the Black Sea because it has to go through Turkey, and Turkey is a NATO country. The ships that Russia has deployed in the Black Sea are the ones that they already had in the Black Sea. I want to see those boats again. Got a little tugboat. Got a little submarine, honk honk. Got lots of loud noises, thank you. Honk honk. Nuclear? I don't think this is a nuclear sub. Terrifying. Oh, sorry, wait, I should clarify. The sub is powered by a nuclear reactor. I mean that it doesn't have launch capabilities of a nuclear weapon, right? That's what I mean when I mean, yeah. Submarines are typically, like, powered by nuclear reactors because it's, like, objectively the best way to power a sub. You know, run a diesel engine. Not only are you going to run out of fuel faster, but that's a lot of fumes you're belching up, you know? What on earth? Fringe politics. Is this real? YouPorn statistics? T versus A nationwide or like planet-wide? Man, I don't want to play into any stereotypes here, but it sure does seem like the more black people there are in your country, the more likely you are to be an ass country. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, you know? I'm like, man, that I don't know. That's pretty crazy. Then there's Argentina. Pretty embarrassing, I would say. You know? I would say being like big into tits over ass is a kind of Freudian regression, you know? It's the sign of a lower mind. Very sad. Yeah. What's the methodology used? I mean, it's from the what, Pornhub stats? So my guess is just like how many times each search term was entered into the bar from each country in this site or whatever, you know? My husband is a boob guy. Devastating. Why Romania, though? I don't know. Maybe that's why their GDP is going up so quickly. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're like the economic tiger of the Balkans. I'm familiar with them logical pretzels. Over in Romania? Yeah. True sleepy Joe Biden. We love our European racism. All right, all right, all right. No, Rippy. You want to cover some wacky news? That's not very descriptive. What the fuck is this? Arizona man accused of plotting a mass shooting to start a race war. Whew, somebody's got main character syndrome. My God. Somebody's read to, you know, the Turner Diaries, gone on 4chan, read too many green text posts about how, like, you can be the man of the West who saves everything. I don't know about that one.
Tonight,
Jesus.
federal court records are revealing how the FBI broke up a plot to stop a mass shooting. Back in October...
Wait. Okay. Revise your script. Broke up a plot, comma, to stop a mass shooting? That's easy in text. But it sounds like the FBI stopped a plot to stop the shooting.
The FBI says it began its investigation into Mark Prieto after a confidential informant who spoke with him more than a dozen times over 3 years at various gun shows said Prieto called for a mass shooting targeting blacks, Jews, and Muslims before the 2024 presidential election. During a January gun show in Phoenix, Prieto tried recruiting that informant and an undercover FBI agent. According to court records, Prieto wanted to carry the plan out in Georgia because, he says, when he was a kid, that was one of the most conservative states in the country.
He's a return guy. He's just mad that Atlanta is so black and gay now. It's just like he walked down the streets of Atlanta and he saw a black guy with like dyed hair or something, and he was like, no longer. Imagine starting a race war, but being like, which race? All of them? Yeah, how does that even start a race war? Does he not, is he like so mentally ill that he doesn't realize that a crazy far-right, like, white guy indiscriminately shooting Jews, Muslims, and black people would not, in fact, cause, like, the men of the West to rise up and start a race war, but would actually lead to a massive, like, counterwave against conservatives and racists, because that would be like a it's like an op bit, you know, except in this case, like, the feds were the ones entrapping, well, sorry, I shouldn't say entrapping, because this isn't legally entrapment at all. The feds were the ones, you know, spinning the web that he got caught in.
More specifically, Prieto wanted to carry out the attack at a rap concert because he's
Dude, your life is going to end here. You know that, right? Like, you're choosing, this is the final plan you'll ever have to make. Can you put more than 5 seconds of thought into this? Racists are so fucking stupid, dude. Like, ask a racist, hey, where are you gonna, like, start the race war? Rap concert, black people. Really? No, like, you know, Archduke Wilhelm start of World War One. No, like, targeted, planned, like, I'm gonna make it look like someone else did it. No, like carefully orchestrated series of events to bring about a, like, conscious reawakening of the glorious return with a V white man Western society you dream of returning to. What are you talking about, man? I'm gonna be real, there's lots of white people rap concerts. Yeah, firing indiscriminately into the crowd at an Atlanta rap concert hits like 17 suburban white boys. Maybe they're just idiots. I wonder if there's an extremely well demonstrated scientific correlation between being racist and being low IQ. I wonder.
He said there would be, quote, a high concentration of African Americans. During a February meetup at a gun show, Prieto began offering details of the plan, including the number of guns to be used. During this...
Well, I really like that, the pop-up here. Prieto wanted it clear the attack was racially motivated. Really? Okay. All right, good. Don't leave anything to chance there, you know?
Used. During this meetup, Prieto sold that undercover agent a gun for $2,000 and said he would...
Okay, I don't want to give the game away for the feds here, but considering how cheap guns are in America, if somebody offers to buy, if somebody's like, hey, I'll buy that firearm off of you for $2,000 and also mind telling me some details about your plan to do a mass shooting, that guy's a fed. Come on, man. $2,000? What was it a fucking anti-materiel rifle? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? Guns are $5. You can get them at Walmart. Come on.
Would also like to use grenades during the attack because it can, quote, cause panic.
Smoke grenades, not... Yeah, okay.
At another...
That's on uncommon price. Second-hand fire, like selling a gun that's already owned, like person to person, they're directly going to you for that gun. That better be a special gun, you know? We're not talking off the rack, like specialty stuff or whatever. Some guys, like, I mean, obviously it depends on the model. An AR-15 is like $1,500. Isn't it way cheaper than that? Am I off? A typical AR-15 is worth $500 to $800. Yeah, no. I've only seen a few guns listed like for $2,000 in the store, you know, and a lot of the times it's like obviously showboat firearms, you know, like collector stuff.
Gun show in March in Prescott Valley, Prieto provided more specific details. That attack would take place in Atlanta at State Farm Arena on May 14th or 15th. Performing that night was rapper Bad Bunny. During that gun show, Prieto sold an AR-15 rifle to that undercover agent for $1,000 and told them to, quote, bring as many magazines as the gun could carry.
Oh my God, he was roping the undercover agent into it. This motherfucker. Man, sometimes, okay, hold on. Sometimes I have to say, man, being an undercover fed has to be such a rewarding job if you're not racist, because you can bait the dumbest motherfuckers on earth and just be laughing internally the entire time, waiting for the big payout at the end. You know what I mean? You can just walk up to this guy and be like, boy, I remember when things used to be more white around here. I sure do hate black people. And I'd be willing to buy a firearm for $10,000 right now. And then, like, you got him. Like, congratulations. Like, you foiled a terror plot. You're going to get evidence on this guy. He'll probably try to argue entrapment. They always argue entrapment. It never works. Entrapment's very difficult to prove, and 99.9% of the time when they argue it, it's total bullshit. This is not entrapment. Yeah. What is up, my fellow racists? I love being white. The sun, am I right, folks? Nope. Uh,
In the following weeks, agents continued to monitor Prieto's movements. During an April meetup, Prieto continued to fine-tune his plans, even discussing heading east to do reconnaissance, but emphasized the attack, quote, must happen prior to the election and as soon as possible. Authorities arrested Prieto back on May 14th as he crossed into New Mexico. Investigators say he had several guns in his truck, even more found at his home in Prescott while executing a search warrant.
he had century-old bolt-action rifle, whatever, man. Okay, sure. I guess he wants to return, you know. He's older than I thought. Yeah, he's I mean, yeah. You get the vibe. His main defense was that he wasn't actually going to do it. Guys, I was just kidding. Guys. Guys. I was joking. Here's more about the guy. Thank you. I was about to look up a text article. This shit is so funny, man. Federal grand jury, firearm trafficking, possession of... Transfer of a firearm for use in a hate crime and possession of an unregistered firearm. Okay. Prieto believes that martial law will be implemented shortly after the 2024 election and that a mass shooting should occur prior. Is crazy, man. It's didn't what's his name? Scott Adams, the guy who made Dilbert, believe this? He was like, if Biden wins in 2020, if you're a Republican, you and your family will likely be dead within a year. And then nothing happened, but it doesn't matter because these guys are like actually schizo. Like they're genuinely mentally ill. You would have to be mentally ill to believe this. To an extent, this guy's kind of like a victim of what is a very deliberate disinformation campaign constructed by billionaires to woo people like him into being fucking psychopaths. But it's, you know, at the same time, how is a mass shooting going to stop a government crackdown? The funny thing is, the Alex Jones narrative was the opposite, that the Sandy Hook shooting was manufactured to give the government a pretext for doing the crackdown, which, of course, never happened. You know, it's one of the most expensive, disinformation campaigns ever perpetrated by anybody, like on Alex Jones' part. But yeah. I miss the Dale Gribble type conspiracy theorists. Yeah, there's no such thing as like a neutral, apolitical. Yeah, the Alex Jones narrative makes a kind of sense. Like, no. It's completely wrong. But if you wanted to lie consistently, there's a thread of logic you could tenuously tie like through it, you know? Whereas the idea of like, I'm going to start a race war and prevent martial law by me, a white man, doing a mass shooting against non-white people. What are you doing? Crazy. According to the affidavit, Prieto said, the reason I say Atlanta, why is Georgia such a fucked up state now? When I was a kid, that was one of the most conservative states in the country. Why is it not now? Because as the crime got worse in LA, St. Louis, and all these other cities, crime's down, man. All the N-words moved out of the... See, here's an example of it not being a soft day. See the difference, guys? See the difference between a white boy rapping in the shower, like rapping along to their favorite hip-hop album, and the hard R? Something tells me this wasn't the soft day, folks. I don't think I'm going to get a confirmation on that. I really don't think this was a soft day, okay? I'm just saying. Moved out of those places, moved to Atlanta. That's why it isn't so great anymore, and they've been there for several years. Okay. He also said he wanted to target a rap concert because there would be a high concentration of black people there, and he planned to leave Confederate flags after the shooting. Dude, isn't it amazing how every one of these guys acts exactly the way that the racists on 4chan would say makes them an op? Four-letter agent or three-letter agent glow so bright. Like, oh, wow, you're telling me this wasn't a psyop? This guy, like, leaving Confederate flags around and screaming from the rooftops that he's a racist and it's a race war? Like, wow, yeah, this guy's a Fed. It's like, well, no, it's just you guys are that dumb. You're just all that stupid. Yeah, it's always like that, Annie. It's always like the right wing, like mass shooter, lunatic, schizo, conspiracy shit, whatever. Like that dynamic is exactly the same as when you're in a school classroom and like one kid goes up to like read a bit from the book or do some presentation and they fuck it up and they stumble over their words and they do a bad job and everyone in the class is like, "What an idiot! I could do better." And then it's their turn and they do just as badly, if not worse. And everyone in the class is like, wow, two people are that bad? Ridiculous. How do these jokers even pass fucking fifth grade, man? If I got called up, I hope I don't, but if I got called up, I would ace that shit. And then you get called up and like your pants are a bit uncomfortable because you've been slouching in the seat. So they're like kind of pulling at your waist and your hands are a little bit clammy and you're distracted because you got a text on your phone underneath the desk, like right before you went up there. So your mind's like not in the right space. And then you go up there and you fucking bomb. And in your head, you're like, well, yeah, I mean, my situation was different. Obviously, it's not the same as those other two. And everyone in the fucking classroom is like, man, 3 people in a row, huh? This is very specific. Yeah, it's specific because I'm a fucking wordsmith, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's me crafting, like lovingly crafting a world for you, okay? I'm Tolkien, all right? I'm telling you about the goddamn leaf colors. Never happened to you, though? Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. I know you like to relate to me. I've always had the gift of gab. I would deliberately, like muscle my classmates into letting me do the presentation whenever there was a group project. Sorry, I've always loved it. What is wrong with you? Well, it led to this, so. Please finish that paragraph. This guy... Wait, it led to this, like, warning. There you go. It's a psychopath, yeah, so... Please finish that paragraph. The guy keeps being a cartoon villain. We're going to fight back now. Every whitey will be the enemy across the whole country. And to shout, whitey's out here killing, what's we gonna... He planned to leave Confederate flags after the shooting to send a message that, quote, we're going to fight back now and every whitey will be the enemy across the whole country. And to shout, whitey's out here killing, what's we gonna do? You were going to shout that. You know what? This is nothing but a reaffirmation of absolute African-American cultural victory. Because in what other world but such a victory, one in which such a victory had happened, would a lunatic white supremacist be referring to themselves as whitey and say, whitey's out here killing, what's we gonna do? Like, my man, you are biting the hand that feeds you. Your parlance is directly taken from AAVE. What do you... like, Jesus. One of the moments of all time. It is very funny. I'm glad they caught this guy. He was trying to start a race war. Okay, I get that. Just, like, think in your head for a second, okay? All right? You know, you hear about a horrific shooting at a concert. Shaky, like, phone video footage emerges from it, in which you see a pasty 55-year-old guy with a white goatee and jeans, like, falling off his ass, shooting wildly into a crowd, screaming, what's we gonna do? Whitey doing a shooting? What are you... What are you getting from that exactly? What can you... Can you explain to me what, like, the... Can you explain to me what's happening there? He screams KKK all the way. Like, yeah, what? I don't even... Personally, I think that he would be, like, the linchpin. First of all, like, his actions would prompt the eradication of the white race. For one, that's a given. Second of all, like, he would be considered by every one of his ideological contemporaries to be the fediest fed who ever fedded. You know, like, there was... Oh, man. Oh, my God. Well, you know. Excuse me. I had some delicious Vietnamese food earlier. One second. Pardon me. I really like this shirt. I really like the pattern on it. Makes me happy. Good news about mifepristone? You don't say. The Supreme Court just unanimously struck down a challenge to the abortion pill. The plaintiffs have not shown and cannot show the FDA's action will cause them to suffer any conscience injury. Well, that's nice. That's very nice. That's very, very good. When far-right activists won their decades-long crusade to overturn Roe v. Wade, they likely expected that eradicating the constitutional right to an abortion would result in the number of abortions plummeting. But 2 years after the decision in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health, abortions have actually risen in the U.S. thanks to medications that now account for almost 2/3 of pregnancy terminations nationwide. My guess is that there's a few reasons to this. First of all, in the current political climate, people are more anxious about unwanted pregnancies. So if a chick misses her period, they're probably going to like get tested a little bit sooner, you know, like that maybe people are a little more on edge. The increased prominence of the abortion pill, which is cheaper, safer, more effective, like everything, more like just, you know, generally a more effective way of handling most pregnancies. Stuff like that, I imagine. Also, probably a little bit of doomerism. People are having less children these days because they fear for the future. And that's probably like a increasing factor. Financial instability, that sort of thing. Yeah, some people are bitchless. That's also true. Let's see. The ruling was hailed by abortion rights groups who had seen the case as an existential threat, but the decision doesn't overturn state laws, of course, nor is it likely to slow down other efforts underway to ban the abortion pill around the country, including arguments based on the Victorian-era federal obscenity law known as the Comstock Act. We've talked about that one before, yeah. Very silly, very silly. I don't think... I don't think it's very likely that the abortion pill gets meaningfully, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's good. I'm glad this happened. I'm glad that the Supreme Court struck this down. The opinion was like, if we let doctors have standing for abortions they might have to treat, what are we going to do when they try to sue gun manufacturers over having to treat gunshot victims? I mean, I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with the case that was brought here. This is about like conscience injury, right? Not necessarily about like liability of the doctors. There's a bunch of different arguments for and against. Not necessarily good ones, but the scary part is the SCOTUS only dismissed the ruling on a procedural level, not them really weighing in on it. No, I disagree. They dismissed it unanimously because, like, the procedural dismissal was because the Supreme Court was like, yeah, no, this is totally invalid. It wasn't them saying, like, oh, you failed to file the paperwork correctly. It was just them saying, like, this is a completely invalid line of argument to make against abortion pills. I wouldn't say it's purely procedural, unless by procedural you mean, like, they literally failed to meet the standard for being able to make that case, which I was sure. I mean, but that's a pretty substantial beatdown, you know? That's a rough one. They didn't have standing to bring it forth. That's different. No. Hold on. Did I misread this? A coalition of anti-abortion medical groups and doctors, represented by the Alliance Defending Freedom, the most powerful religious law firm in the country, launched an audacious attack on the FDA, challenging its regulation of mifepristone, a key component of medication abortions. An unanimous decision swatted away that challenge. The ruling, written by Trump appointee Justice Brett Kavanaugh, held anti-abortion doctors and groups lacked standing to bring the lawsuit because they could not show that the FDA regulations caused them or their members any direct harm. Yeah, I don't think that's just a procedural dismissal. Because like that's shutting down an entire line of argument. It's not saying like, oh, come back and slightly rephrase it and you've got your argument, you know? In this case, like I like what else could the Supreme Court do, right? The first step the Supreme Court has to ask when reviewing a case is this even like a valid case? Is there standing? And if there is no standing, like, bah. But it's not quite the same as saying like, oh, we might agree with the underlying logic, but not the way in which it was handled. This is sort of a dismissal of both. I guess that is procedural. You know, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I think you're correct, and I was incorrect on the technicality here. Just I don't think it is merely procedural, if that makes sense. I don't think that it's that insubstantial. It's come back if you had someone who has the damages. Yeah, but that's like all law, right? I don't think they're gonna succeed in going after the abortion pill. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. The prosecutor said they're still going to pursue it. Nah, they always say that. They always say that. The girl who said the N-word the other day is now being accused of being Jewish by far-right nut jobs. Why did you just repeat, Bauschite, why did you just repeat the exact same thing that was said by Croc Goblin a second ago? That was the exact same message. You just repeated it. If you want to find hidden Jews on this app, pay attention to who posted videos of this girl first. Somewhere up the chain, there's likely money being funded into promoting this girl through anonymous Jew-run Twitter accounts. If they were, that's not how that works. If they were promoting it, if they were spending money to promote it or like bot farm it, why would they need to do that through anonymous Jew-run Twitter account? That what? Okay. Note the cross on her neck accompanied by a vile mouth. What is a vile mouth? Is that a euphemism for like cleavage? Is it like actually her mouth? What does that mean? Oh, you mean her swearing? Like literally, like potty mouth. Are you, I was about to say, are you 5? They're Lord Spaghetti X69, so, okay, yeah. All right. They edited the picture to make her nose look bigger. Yeah, this is an edited photo, I'm pretty sure. 5,000 likes. Well. They don't like that she is an uwu submissive cat girl. I mean, genuinely, like, it is a legitimate political detriment to the online far right that so many of them are anime lolicon pedophile perma online gamers, you know? I'm always reminded, I will never forget this, it was brought up in an H-bomb video, that when Paul Joseph Watson, remember that guy, was making a video on like degenerate media or like media that takes away your time and energy and attention and like makes you weak or soy or whatever, he mentioned a bunch of different things but not gaming, which is funny because you would think that if you were going to list like which forms of media distract men and make them impotent and weak, gaming would be literally the first thing you'd bring up because it by far accounts for the greatest time. Like far more young men spend a ton of time in like games than they do watching movies or TV. But he doesn't say that. Doesn't mention anime either. You know, he says TV. Doesn't really say anime, even though again people often refer to anime in a separate category as TV, even though it technically can be a TV or a movie, like it does often get treated that way. And that's because his audience is mostly like 4chan, weeb, coomer gamer types, you know? It's like they always have to build around that. It's like an actual genuine fucking weak, like coalition weakness right there, you know? This whole thing about her being Jewish was started by a Nazi on Twitter called Lucas Gage. With 300K followers. I know who the Lucas Gage is. I mean, yeah, it's Nazis, right? They, you know, the seeming willingness for the right to coalition build kind of falls apart at the fringe end, you know, of the far right. So you're gonna get like everyone's just calling everyone else a Jew. That's true, Skynet. The moment they gain any foothold, they start attacking each other. Yeah, well, it's the same thing that the left does to a large extent, where in a way, you know, there are a lot of like conservatives as a broader political movement are very committed to building power, but the ultra far right, like the Nick Fuentes types, kind of aren't, right? This is what Nick Fuentes did as well. He had a choice. He could keep it in his pants, so to speak, and he could like dog whistle harder and not fully commit to the bit, and he could like maintain some level of relevance in the broader political space. And he gave that up because he would rather just say the N word and say the Holocaust didn't happen. And as a consequence, his community, which is a strong community, I'm not saying, I mean, these guys are, you know, touching tips, right? But it means like he's kind of locked in on that. Like he can't really expand beyond that point unless there's like other Nazis doing onboarding, like the editor for Asmongold, uh, which is still an issue. But like usually they tend to choose their own wallets over their you know, the broader movement, which if any, you know, if someone else did that, they would accuse them of being Jewish. They all accuse each other of being Jewish and gay. Did you see Donnie on Impulsive? That's not how you spell my name, white people happy. And what the fuck are you talking about? He doesn't know. On the topic of groypers being weird, did you see the boy mode or groyper discourse? It's almost like an inevitability that the more time passes, the more likely it is that the majority of Nick Fuentes' fan base becomes like coping homosexuals or trans women. It's pretty crazy. Trumpy was on Logan Paul's podcast. Why people happy? I'm invoking the like don't be cringe doctrine. Stop saying Trumpy, don't say Donnie, just say Trump. Don't make me guess around with like what name you're referring to. If you're trying to convey information to me, you say Trump, okay? You don't have to add on to that. It's fine. Boy Mode Groiper sent $5. Nick, my sibling is truning because of some pooner or they fab, I don't know, and in an AGP transbian tranarchist Reddit catgirl 0% passoid chance way, not even a trad larp, true trans TTTT HSTS way. How can I encourage repping instead of becoming a late shit beast? Many such cases. If you understand all these words should be banned. This is like effortlessly understandable to me. Easily. This particular like flavor of brain rot, I've seen it so many times. Imagine sending this to the founding fathers. Yeah, I'm sure they'd understand it. Is this rightoid newspeak? No. I mean, maybe, but no. Don't worry about it. Okay? Would you say that to somebody at a bus stop? This is perhaps the last thing that you should say to somebody at a bus stop. You know, like, there are a lot of things that you could say to them that you should say before this. Some of them illegal. I mean, like, this is really far down the list, guys. There are, at the very least, like, misdemeanor harassment charges that would probably, like, be incurred by behavior that is less morally deprived than this. Translate? No. No. What is this? Tim Pool says it's okay for men to leer at women in public. They're just trying to figure out if the women around them are sufficiently fertile. Oh, maybe I'm going to agree with Tim on this one. What's up, Tim? Oh, not a mute site.
And why they do women really want and why they do the things they do. The first thing we'll do is, of course, we'll address the pure viral video with 6.5 million views. Provide some social commentary as to why this woman is upset. A man is looking at her. I love this because...
Wait, can I see the... Can somebody link the video to me? Can somebody link that video to me so that I actually see the video? I'll wait.
It's like, let me just get it out of the way. Young women wearing booty pants being like, I don't understand why men are looking at me. It's because they want to have sex with you. Now,
okay. Here we go. I would be staring hardcore. I judge the fuck out of people at Whole Foods self-checkout, but I've been a cashier, so I operate a high level. Oh, this is a one like... Okay, so this is irrelevant. Okay, what is this? All right, we need to, like, address the elephant in the room right away, okay? I'm gonna share my thoughts on leering. Why is there a camera there? She put the camera there to, like, do this, okay? I'll talk about that in a second. I will say, however, this girl looks like 17 to me, you know? So, I'm going to address that now and then not mention it again because we're going to talk about leering generally. But this guy fully looks like 3 times. Yeah, he does not look 17. You know? I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't fucking... She could be like 25. I don't fucking know. Like, all I'm saying is that, like, the age difference is substantial. I think that some degree of decorum could be nice in a, you know, in an environment that is public. He's 17. He's just had a really rough life. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. You know. All right, well, anyway, let's keenly observe the behavior here so that we can make broad generalizing statements. Okay, I gotta ask my man over here, fake and rage bait? Yeah, probably fake and rage bait. It's probably fake and rage bait. He's not acting like the way a person would normally leer. That being said, what's going on down there, man? Is she pissing herself? What's so interesting? How is she recording if she's holding her phone? Well, I think that we might have to consider the possibility that she has 2 phones and that this was either deliberately orchestrated and set up and planned and it's all acted and fake, or she just made the very reasonable assumption that if she wore tight white pants at a grocery store and, like, kind of leaned forward, that guys would look at her ass.
That's what you guys are, just a couple of meat bags.
Okay, all right. Now we've seen the video, which had like 50 trillion views. Tim Pool, give us your take.
Now, that doesn't mean that they quite literally on the spot want to. It means they are checking out your body because in nature, women produce babies and men.
Okay, I gotta be real with you guys. Why the fuck, Tim? Why are you being a little queer, my man? That's my job. What is this? Why do you guys make having sex with women sound so unappealing? Is that what you like see a hot, beautiful babe and you're like, in nature, women are made to bear the young? What the fuck you make like it's like you're choosing to make it weird. And I think it's because it's like a dehumanizing thing. Like you don't want to acknowledge that sexual attraction still puts you both at an equal level socially. You have to think of it in a kind of like carnal, you take the woman and make them an incubator for your young or whatever. But like, you're not, dog, you're not, if that was actually what you were thinking about, then why do you think about getting your dick sucked? Come on. You're not thinking about like having her bear your children. You're thinking about enjoying her body, which is fine. That's like life, whatever. It's like they choose to make it creepy because the majority audience of Tim Pool has really fucking weird values when it comes to women, you know? So they don't want to, like, this is one of the reasons why the right wing, like whenever the right wing talks about sex, they never ever sound like they have it. They never sound normal. They can never just be like, oh yeah, well, when you see a beautiful woman, it's like, I mean, you think of fucking her because she's like really hot, right? No big deal. Like, because that's obvious. Like, you know, no one would disagree with that. Instead, they have to make it this bizarre, like pseudo Evo psychology screed because it designates the appropriate mix of, I don't know, distance and contempt. It's very strange. Very, very strange. You know? I don't get it.
And would like to find women who have good genetics to produce babies.
Like this shit, man. Why are you making her all sound so gay? You're like deliberately taking a beautiful thing, which is you know, having sex with a beautiful lady and making it sound horrible. Why are you doing that? You really want me to believe that this is something you enjoy when you talk about it like this? I don't literally think you're like Ace or whatever. It's just, why are you doing that? You know? It's wild. Yeah, this is why conservatives hate Joe Cat, because he actually likes women, you know? He's giving us sex havers a bad name. It's just, I don't understand how you can talk about sex that way and not feel really embarrassed, you know?
Babies with. For men, it's actually quite easy. You look at a woman. Does she look like she can have babies?
That's, yeah, that's definitely, that's how the process works, man, 100%. That's 100%. Why look at their face? What does facial symmetry have to do with the likelihood of them being able to bear children? Like, oh, well, actually, that means the genetics of the child would be, okay, like, you would never have sex with a woman unless it was for procreation. Are you literally gay? I'm not trying to be petty about this. It's just like, it feels like it genuinely comes from a place of disgust towards the entire act. Like it's a vile biological function that, like, biologically, I have to shit, dude. I don't like... But my attitude towards shitting is that it's just something I have to do and get over with, you know? I don't talk about sex that way. I have to shit. I choose to have sex because it's fun. Why do you make it sound so unfun? I don't get it. I don't get it. What about being a good housewife? Well, that's the thing as well. Like the fake Evo psych, because it's never real research, right? It's always just like post hoc justifying some belief you have. The fake Evo psych nonsense is usually internally contradictory. It's the same reason conservatives will say like being a male, being a man is biological, and then they'll be like, well, you're not a real man unless you do X. What do you mean by that? You're not a real man unless you have like jeans and a pickup truck? What does that mean? What are you talking about? And then they'll be like, well, actually, the entire purpose of sexual attraction is like to facilitate the procreation. No, it's not. Are you fucking dumb? Are you stupid? What do you think blowjobs are for, dumbass? You see everything people do that's tied to sexual attraction is procreation. What about kissing, you fucking numbskull? You think kissing is necessary for procreation? Like, what are you talking about? It's insane. And then you mention this, and then they pretend that this makes sense, that you can reconcile this like juxtaposition, you know? Where they're like, well, actually, I don't do any of those things. I simply like jerk off 99% to completion and then slip the tip in, and then I come, and then I'm done. And that way I minimize, you know, That's the most efficient way to inseminate the female and make them produce like my children. And when they're already pregnant, I don't have sex with them again because there's no point, because the whole purpose is to inseminate them with more babies. What are you talking about, man? You're crazy. You're insane. I cannot believe the left let the right, maybe this is changing with Joe Cat, the left let the right get heterosexual sex in the national divorce. Because you motherfuckers either aren't having it or aren't enjoying it. You're not gonna convince me. You're not gonna convince me you guys enjoy sex when you talk like this. I mean, Andrew Tate just flat out admitted that he doesn't enjoy sex and he only has sex with beautiful women as a power sign to other men, which, like, okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. See, he even agrees. Sounds like a Cumtown bit. Yeah, but that's like actually the shit they say. It's insane. It's like genuinely psychotic, right? It's crazy. The world they live in is very gray and sad. Like it becomes about power. But here's the thing. I don't think that they actually live that life. I think that Tim Pool or whatever other conservative, whatever the fuck, like, I think they hug and they kiss and they cuddle. I don't, like, maybe not all of them do, but I think that, like, because it's almost universally enjoyable, they do those things, but they can't talk about sex that way because then they would have to acknowledge it as, like, a setting of like mutual intimacy in which, you know, you're both like vulnerability, like, but they can't do that. They have to pretend that it's just this purely biological function because that's how they logically justify it. Watch me justify what's happening in this video without having to defer to fake Evo psych. Dog, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with checking out the ass of a beautiful woman in a grocery store. Don't leer. By which I mean, like, first of all, don't make them feel uncomfortable ever. Like, don't fucking stare at them or whatever. And don't be weird. But, like, obviously looking at beautiful people, which is something everyone does, and I think everyone enjoys doing to some extent, right? Sometimes, like, they bend over, they've got a nice ass. That's life, man. And if you've got a nice ass and you bend over to pick something up, people check your ass out, I can understand how that might at times be frustrating, or you might feel like you're kind of like meat in a bar, in like a butcher's window. I totally understand that. I sympathize with that. And I'm not saying that's an invalid feeling. I'm only saying that, like, to an extent, this is kind of part of life, right? Like, it's not purely a heterosexual thing. Literally, go to like a gay leather bar. Go to a lesbian bar. I have, you know, go in there. What fucking, like, clearly there's something about the human condition. We want to look at pretty people when they bend over. I'm sorry. Just don't be weird about it. You know? That's it. Dumbass rage bait content.
This is why there's, like, rouge, pinching the cheeks, lipstick. These are signs of fertility.
Doing the Jordan Peterson bit here, you know. That's why women wear, like, makeup. That's, first of all, like, 99% of makeup is fucking concealer and eyeliner, which I don't know. Is that fertility? You know, fertility is designated by having perfectly smooth skin and having ridiculously long eyelashes. They always forget eyeliner and concealer. Yeah, because this fake ass, like, Jordan Peterson makeup is purely done to attract men sexually bullshit, which you would know is not true if you ever spoke to a woman. Yeah, it falls apart if you think about it in any greater extent. Also, men used to wear makeup. I mean, some men still do, but yeah, like, to varying extents. You could say, like, oh, well, you know, women wear tights because it naturally accentuates the hips or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, men wore tights for literal centuries. What about that? Could they breed? Like, did they have a womb? Maybe.
For men, it's a little bit more complicated and difficult. And this goes into the what women really want question that home.
Wait, how? Wait, what?
Cheeks, lipstick. These are why there's, like, rouge, pinching the cheeks, lipstick. These are signs of fertility. For men, it's a little bit more complicated and difficult. And this
is fertility literally the only thing you're attracted to, Tim? Like, if you see a woman walking down the street with, like, and she's, like, let's be fair here, busted, and she's got, like, 7 screaming kids with her, that bitch pumps them out. Like, that's your like, rock hard, like, 0 to 100 in 2 seconds? Really? That's it? I mean, that's a pretty strong indicator of fertility. Certainly, that's a better indicator of fertility than having lipstick on. I mean, is that all it takes? It's just such a silly. It's just such a fucking. It's just so silly. It's so dumb.
This goes into the what women really want question that Homath brings up. But this is a lot of, you can't just look at a guy and know. It's not so easy. Now, of course, a tall guy.
Tim might be projecting some of his insecurities a little bit here.
That's a good sign of protection and good genetics, because then you're going to have kids who are strong and be protected. Muscles, ripped.
How does being tall mean your kids are going to be strong? What is that? What? What's the if anything, if you wanted strength, wouldn't you want a big fat guy? Like on average, like the strongest men you're going to see day to day are going to be like big barrel chested fat dudes. Those guys are really strong. Like there's a reason why weight classes are a thing in all contact sports. Sorry, I shouldn't say all contact, it's fucking stupid. In all like martial sports, you know, boxing or Muay Thai or whatever. Because if you're like, you could be like a super strong pound for pound, like 135-pound little super powerful, you know, and then go up against like a 350-pound barrel chested fat dude, he'll knock your ass flat. He just has more inertia built into him, you know? Like, yeah, big fat guy's like strong as hell. So like, what about like, that's good protection, Tim. So are women all like chasing after big fat boys? Well, as my life demonstrates, yes, but I want to hear you make that point. Stupid. I don't know why I'm putting effort into like debunking this. There's no thought put into it. It's just like, it's just really funny how bad conservatives are at constructing a narrative here.
Deep voice.
What does a deep voice have to do with strength and protect? How are you evo psyching this shit, dude? Yeah, women like a guy with a full head of hair. He chokes back like sobs. Because it means like genetically, like it means their follicles are strong, which means that they'll be protected. What are you on about, dude? Jesus Christ.
None of which are guarantees. That's why when you show a woman a picture of a chiseled tall man, they say he's attractive. But if you include a body,
I mean, he might be. There are unattractive chiseled tall guys. Generally, being tall and being muscular are considered attractive traits. Yeah, but is that like, does that mean the underlying logic is about protection, or are these aesthetic traits that we value like generally?
bio, where it says he's like I don't know, assistant manager at a supermarket, then they lower their value of the guy from like 9 to 6 or 7.
What? Has anyone told Tim that the red pill movement kind of died out a while ago? That the like matching your SMV to the SMV of the other person, the hypergamy, that all these things like that like wave of right-wing grifters trying to capitalize on the insecurity of 13-year-old boys, like that's not, bro's still at the function, man. The function's over. Remember how many times I've said that conservatism relies on male insecurity? Like that is the #1 thing it relies on, more so than anything else. Tim understands the assignment. He's just bad at it. Tim is bad at this. Good point. It probably doesn't help
really
that he's like,
and why they do this.
Sorry, Twitter. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. It autoplayed. I scrolled back up. It doesn't help that Tim is like generally a pretty pathetic guy, right? Like in a lot of ways. So maybe he doesn't sell the idea very well. Like you need like an Andrew Tate, you know, like muscle man to sell the image, or like the fresh and fit, like, oh, I'm a big guy. I'm very strong. Haha. I don't know. Just doesn't sell quite as well. 1 second, Sleepy Joe Biden. Seeing as you have some gray hairs in your beard, anyone advice on how to deal with graying as a dude? Was that first of all, was that like intended as an insult? It's like a weird way to open on the subject. Like, hey, I notice you're balding. How do you feel about? I don't notice any gray hairs in my beard. Frankly, I can't wait for there to be some. I'm gonna look sick as shit. Are you kidding me? Who gives it? How do you deal with graying? You gray. Whatever. Yeah, San Fran Beyond the Star. People are trying to come at me. Is evolutionary psychology even a science? You know what? I'm just going to take the hard stance on this. No, I don't think it is. I don't think it adheres to the scientific method. I think it's a way of making post hoc generalizations about humans based on like observational trends. Why do people behave this way? Oh, it must be because of this evolutionary trend. How do you determine that scientifically? The history of EvoPsych is almost entirely rooted in pop psychology, quickly and messily making assumptions to sell some pre-existing idea, you know? It's basically, in many cases, it just ends up being the sex version of scientific racism. Really long criticism Wikipedia page. Ha! Nice. Oh, yeah. Since I complained about Twitter a second ago, I should probably do so again, and in like, I don't know, a slightly more structured fashion. They got rid of likes, or sorry, not rid of likes. They got rid of public likes. Likes are now private. So this is another example of the site being made objectively worse. I don't even understand what the point of liking stuff is. If you like, bookmarks are already the thing you could hit to have a private list of stuff you want to go back to, you know? Now likes serve exactly the same purpose. There's no difference. So I don't really like, yeah, it's very silly. Very, very silly. I don't understand. Well, people are making jokes like Elon Musk got caught looking at child pornography, which would be extremely funny if it was true, but that's not actually why. The real reason is that the bot situation on Twitter is out of control. It's genuinely like massively worse than it used to be because he gutted the entire service team for Twitter and it's being held up with a skeleton crew. As a consequence of that, not only are you constantly getting DMs from bots and replies from bots, but botted likes are getting easier and easier and easier to do. The more bots there are on the site, the easier it is to use massive numbers of them to promote this or promote that. Elon Musk, who has not been able to curtail the bot issue for the reasons I just mentioned, has instead decided to take advantage of them by hiding the ways in which people like, where likes come from. You hide botting. And that means that when he is trying to pitch advertising package deals to advertisers, he can do so by pointing to an inflated volume of likes. You know? Exactly. It makes Twitter appear more active than it actually is here. And Elon bragged about this. Massive increase in likes after they were made private. So this is kind of like, I don't know, he's a stupid man. So it's an obvious admission of why this is being done. Like, the only reason the likes would go up in this context is because there's a sort of like unfettered increase in a way that can't be tracked anymore, which he can now point to and go like, you know, Twitter traffic is better than ever, even though of course we do have external metrics for determining how well Twitter is doing, and that has been plummeting in use since he took over. So that's pretty funny. Great website. Look at the dips in the graph. Yeah, I don't think these are actually bot purges, or at the very least, I don't know. It's possible that they are. It's also possible that at the beginning of every hour, there's some process in Twitter's servers that causes them to briefly lag behind on the sort of like registered number of likes, because then you have like the subsequent uptick afterwards. I don't know. I don't know anything about network engineering. I'm not going to pretend that I do. So I don't know. It would be very funny if these significant upticks were like immediately empirically determinable to be bot engagement, but I don't know if it is, you know? He's being supportive of all the closeted gay Republicans and giving them a safe space to like trans porn. Yeah, and like you know, the pedophiles, like genuinely in terms of the main group that benefits from this, about 40% of the time on Twitter, if you are accosted by somebody who uses racial slurs and has an anime profile picture, their likes were full of lolicon, and now you can't say your likes are public because they're not public anymore. This is an unprecedented victory for Nazis on Twitter. All the damn time. Oh, constantly. Like, they just, like, literally all the time. Apparently, they only removed the profile's likes button, but you could still navigate to /likes for a profile, so they had to patch that after people memed about it. I saw that! Was that actually true? Their change was so hackneyed and so, like, sloppy, they didn't even remove the back-end infrastructure for it. They just removed the, like, visible button to get to it. You could literally just type in the URL and get to the likes page for another person. It worked on TweetDeck for a while, too. Truly a phenomenal man, a phenomenal company, you know. Really incredible stuff. Elon getting the web design he pays for. Yeah, it's just... Yes, Vosh, and Elon liked tweets about how he did it to save relationships and up the birth rate. I'm sure. What are the odds that likes suddenly become visible again because of some technical issue and all the Nazis who thought it was safe to like trans porn get outed? I mean, nobody has any faith in the stability of the website. You know, I remember that when circles were set to be removed, they were like, everyone was worried all of them would be made public, you know? I was terrified because instantly you all would have been flooded with like 500 circle posts of me going, guys, check out my new pants. And you know, you guys make fun of me enough. Bots are in the community notes now. Oh no. Notes suggesting context to be shown with this post. Come and fuck me. I'm here. Oh my god. It's so over, dude. Death of the internet. That internet theory, it's over. It was good while it lasted. I can't wait for us to return to like niche forums. You know? We need to return with a V. Almost immediately following the update, Elon liked a bunch of photos from a trans poster. Nana Wood, I don't know if you know, but I will let you know to make you stronger. Okay? This was a joke tweet. Elon Musk did not actually like 100 of the posts from @BootyRot. Just making sure you know. WebRing's been back 1990. That's before my time, man. The real victim of this change is now I can't see what fashion you like in your account. Yeah, honestly, I guess I'll have to retweet everything that I like now, which, like, Jesus, fucking fill my page right up, you know? Now there's not even, like, 2 tiers, right? Where if a person wanted to see the stuff in your profile that you liked, obviously you go to the likes, but if you really like it, you retweet it. But now it's like, no, if you want people to see, now if you want people to see what you like enough to sort of indicate it, you have to retweet all of it, which is like, fuck, man. You could make a Substack or something. You want me to make a Substack for posting links to e-girls with their asses out, fashion posts, and like furry porn? Probably not. Honestly, banger idea. I knew saying it, like midway through saying it, you guys would like it. Vosh, if you don't have any gray hairs, you're slightly older than me. Any advice on how not to get them? Haha. And what a coincidence. You only started posting today. Maybe I'm too suspicious today. Totally normal posts. No, sorry, haha, I don't know how stream chat works. It was a genuine question. I'm starting to gray, and I see what maybe some grays towards a top netizen. Okay. Okay, you seem fine. I just feel like I'm going to go, okay, man, whatever. You know, maybe just a phrasing thing. And then 5 minutes from now, I'm going to see in chat, hey, Vosh, hey, was just wondering, as you get older, you seem slightly stupider than me. How do you, like, keep all your thoughts together in your head, you know? Like, hey, your complexion seems a little worse than me. Is there anything that you do that I can avoid? Like, do you have a skin regimen that I could not do to hopefully avoid looking like you, if at all possible? Where did you get your glasses? Okay, good, writing that down. All right, I'll check out the other place. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just a little paranoid. You're fine. There were a lot of people trying to come after me earlier today because I posted the picture of me with my shit on, with the fit, on Twitter, and some big account, some like artist person, I don't know if it's a lady, I don't know, person, the individual, they saw it and they quote tweeted and they were like, let me see if I can find it. They were, the thing they said was like, why do Hassan and Vosh dress like bisexual men who recently graduated from high school, which is totally incoherent as an insult for the two main reasons being Hassan doesn't dress like a bisexual at all. Like, not even he dresses in an aggressively hetero. No, I mean, you're saying not false because you don't know anything, but Hassan dresses like incredibly, like, yeah, giga straight, like 100%, yeah. And people right out of by guys right out of high school don't wear high-waisted trousers. I wish they did, because that would mean that I would have worn them and I would have looked better. I wish I dressed like this right out of fucking high school, you know? It's good ass pick. I rep that shit. Rep that shit. West Coast straight. Yeah, West Coast straight. West Coast straight. Lesbian chic. You know, personally, I want to dress like a butch lesbian woman. I think that in a lot of respects, men would do a better job in a presentational sense if they tried to lean into that a little bit. You know, I feel like there's it's good representation. They're leading the way. Honestly, you're kind of hitting the mark with that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, because it was intended as an insult, a bunch of people were like, "You look like really shit, actually." And the nice thing about having lost weight is that it's like a really strong reminder that when people hate you, they'll say anything about you, because people will still be like, "You're fat, kill yourself." And it's like, wait, hold on, nothing you say means anything. It's totally disconnected from reality. I could have dressed like anything and you would have said I looked like a bisexual right out of high school, you know? Do you still have the clothes from back then? Brother, it was anime graphic tees and shorts. I dressed like that at the beginning of stream. Yeah, pretty much, Annie, honestly. Nice, Soda Boy. That's wonderful. I think you look good, man. Thank you, but it's not about me looking good, which is a sort of like obvious, inarguable, divinely ordained fact because I'm anointed. It's moreover about the I don't know, the inconsistency of criticism, I feel. Or its invalidity. I hope you feel as good as you look. I feel pretty good. There was one post, because obviously a bunch of people are like, oh, like unalive yourself, whatever, but there was one post that I really liked, and it was somebody saying he needs to gain weight again, this doesn't suit him, and there's only one way to interpret that, and that is they think I look nice, but they think of me as like a wretched, like hobgoblin, dipshit, pedo, zoophile, fascist asshole. So there's an inconsistency between the perception and the perception, and they don't like it. So to them it would be like if like I don't know, Charlie Kirk suddenly became a Bishonen, right? They'd be like, well, hold on, it was easier when he was evil looking. You're proving that Roald Dahl thing wrong. No, I still believe it. I still believe it, and I think I resonate good energy, you know. I think it's very difficult to hate me when you watch my streams. Genuinely, I think you got to be a little bit ill. I come across pretty, you know, I'm here, I'm personable. You can disagree with my ideas, but people act psycho sometimes. Absolutely crazy. These people are so simple-minded. When you see stuff like that, you have to remember that a lot of the most vitriolic people online are not doing very well. And I don't mean that in like a patronizing, oh, you're better than them anyway kind of way. I mean that like in order for a person to wake up and think, I'm going to go online and engage in this behavior, they probably just don't have a lot of other stuff going on that's making them feel very good, you know? Which is unfortunate, not my problem, right? You can be mean to them back if you want. It's just something that you want to keep in mind. Did you see Joe Cat and Bundle? Can somebody explain to me why people in chat have linked this like 5 times? Of what relevance do you think this is to the stream? Okay. Close this, close that, close this, close that. Nice. It's just cool. That was me. I'll fess up. Okay. People just love Joe Cat and want your take, I guess. There's not much of a take to have on it. All right, what the fuck is this? Target our strategic nuclear missiles at U.S. cities. A march on Washington in the center of Moscow yesterday. Uh-huh. Oh my god.
Донбасс и Кракос! Берем США в фокус! Для победы России требуем вести полетные задания.
What does the orange and black flag represent?
Ядерные ракеты и нацелить их на города Соединенных Штатов Америки! Ярс, Сармат и Посейдон! Берем прицел!
It's the Z symbol? I thought a Z was the Z symbol. This just looks like Halloween shit. I actually really like seeing stuff like this because it's a reminder of how similar we all are on a fundamental level. You guys realize that this is like exactly the same as when the Groypers went to CPAC, or anytime some right-wing provocateur does something in public and orchestrates like make sure you've got 3 cameras there to catch it all or whatever. You know, this isn't a government thing. These are just some lads having a good time. And who can blame them? Looks like it's a wonderful day out. A silly language. Really a humanity together moment. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Cross of St. George. Okay, gotcha. Did you see what Jon Stewart said about Ukraine? Very disappointing. No? What do I look at? Jon Stewart, Ukraine. From when? Like what? He said a lot of things. I don't know. Does anyone in chat know what that's meant to refer to? Anyone? Any idea at all? Here? Jon Stewart believes the U.S. is to blame for Russia invading Ukraine. Oh no! He listened to too much Chomsky.
To a lot of... Haven't we sowed the seeds of this with our own arrogance and cavalier approach to a lot of these foreign policy conflicts?
Don't
we
copyright
always frame
Areno.
things as this is a battle between democracy and the free world and liberation and authoritarianism. But the truth is, we're fighting for trade channels and resources. Like this.
So far, nothing he said is incorrect here.
This is all a function of competing capitalist powers. And aren't we the ones? I mean, we've invaded more countries than Russia and China combined. So how do we give ourselves somehow the pass as the white hat guys when a lot of our policy has created a lot of the chaos that they're taking advantage of?
Okay, this wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. He's not saying like, yeah, the United States caused this by not fully denying Ukraine entrance to NATO or whatever. I agree that like the way in which it's being said and the context in which it's being said is kind of sussy, but altogether I don't think these points are like... John gives him his best impression of a 14-year-old tanky in this video. The following is true simultaneously. It is appropriate to critique U.S. foreign policy. It's actually necessary in a free society. Some bad actions are worse than others. Iraq wasn't annexed into the 51st state as opposed to Crimea, Donetsk, da-da-da. Not all foreign policy decisions are zero-sum. The world does not revolve around the U.S. I feel like this guy is presuming a lot of stuff that Jon Stewart said that Jon Stewart didn't actually say. I think like too much is being read into here. I haven't seen the whole video, of course, but a lot of presumptuous shit here. If you like that post, no one will know. That's true. Shabazz, why was that very disappointing? You know? Very disappointing? The context there was Stewart asking if the U.S. can be taken seriously when we do the things we criticize Russia and China over. But that's a fair question. That's a fair question, though. Like, that's not the same as saying, you know, Russia should be allowed to invade Ukraine. Did you see the United States Department of Defense just remove the restriction against arming the Azov Brigade? Does the Azov Brigade even fucking exist anymore? U.S. Embassy officials have confirmed that, quote, the 12th Operational Purpose Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine, the official name of the 12th Special Forces Brigade Azov of the National Guard of Ukraine, has passed the vetting required by U.S. law and is eligible to receive security assistance from the U.S. This is from Azov_media. With a fucking donations pay. Okay, do you want to know what this actually is? This group is maybe tenuously affiliated to the Azov Battalion. This group is just trying to leech money off of them by being an in-between so that the Azov group's like leaders can skim money off the white supremacists who send like direct donations to a fucking military. Vosh, that's their official account. Yeah, I know. I'm calling it like I'm seeing it, okay? I'm calling it like I'm seeing it. What they're trying to do now is like skim and perpetuate the like I don't know, donation train, the support, in spite of the fact the Azov guys, they're dead. They got murked. They got killed years ago. Like, what does this mean? You know why they passed the vetting required by US law? Because there aren't any fucking guys alive to flag the vetting process. The 12th Special Forces Brigade is not like every one of them there is a Nazi or whatever. Like, the Azov group was a specific subcategory that had like run of the group, and they fucking died in Mariupol. They got their asses clapped. Okay, comrade, the unit gets replenished. The unit gets larger because it gets replenished. The Nazis don't multiply. The unit getting larger means that as casualties happen, like, other recruits come in and replace them. You know, it's the 12th Special Forces Brigade. Like, just because it's like was given the sort of banner and regalia of the largest previously you know, a militia group that got incorporated into it, it doesn't mean that they're all like essentialist Nazis. Honest to God, the reason it passed the test is probably because enough of the Nazis died that the current brass in the 12th Special Brigade are fine enough. You're acting like Azov is dead as never was. I mean, Azov is a group. You can't literally kill a group. I mean that, like, a significant contingent of the more ideologically objectionable members of the Azov battalion are known to have died. Past a point, you know, whatever. Yeah, I saw a Croc Goblin. Yeah, Simric. This is the current head of the 12th Special Forces Brigade, Azov. When did this guy get made the lead? Mobile Wikipedia. Awarded the title Hero of Ukraine in March 2022. Played sports, was a member of the far-right White Boys Club football fan. It looks like Mariupol claimed at least one too few people. Oh, also the restriction did actually get lifted off them, which TBH shouldn't have been on them because the restriction is for units that commit war crimes, and Azov hasn't committed any. Azov probably would commit war crimes if they had the opportunity to, but they kind of haven't been because they've been playing defense, right? Like, I mean, presumably they could with captured Russians, but if they ever, like, you know, started sweeping the Russian mainland or something, which isn't going to happen, then maybe they would. He was commanding Azov in Mariupol. He got sent back to Ukraine to prisoner swap. Lucky day for him. Why have the Ukrainian leadership allow this brigade to flourish if it's so problematic? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. If you ousted all white supremacists from the Ukrainian military, Azov battalion would not be the only one to be gutted, and the Russian military and our military. I'm really sorry, but it's a general problem. I don't know what you mean by flourish either. I mean, they want soldiers. My position on Azov now is exactly what it was before, which is that, you know, okay, so you're a Ukrainian Nazi, go particle, anti-particle yourself into non-existence against a Russian Nazi. That's do what you guys do best. Come on, engage. Go. Kiss. Guys, this is like the 50th time I've seen the fucking trebuchet link. You have to stop, man. You have to stop. I know. You have to have seen the links earlier. I saw. It's an oddity, but it's a 6-second clip. What do you want me to say about it, man? What do you want me to say about it? Wait, was that real? That wasn't an AI video. Israel killed a bunch of Hezbollah. Not really surprising. It'd be cool if it wasn't the IDF. It says right here in the title, they're trying to fire catapults over the barrier wall to cause fire and burn the forests so Hezbollah can't hide in them. Maybe the reason why they're doing that instead of using incendiaries is because the incendiaries they have on hand are white phosphorus and they don't want to attract too much attention. I don't know. A simple solution. There had to have been a better way of doing this, man. Ecological warfare. All warfare is ecological. It's not forest, it's brush fire. Like, is there a DMZ? Like, there is a DMZ and there's overgrowth or something? Okay, yeah, the foliage, the cover, yeah. An Israeli military official, speaking on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly, said the weapon is not part of the IDF's standard arsenal and is believed to have been built by reservist soldiers stationed on the border. I'm really sorry, guys, but I'm going to have to be consistent with this one. Dudes rock. Sorry. Could be ladies, too. IDF's got plenty of women. You know, I'm sorry. I have to be consistent with this one. The official said that while the weapon was not sanctioned by military leadership, the troops were fulfilling a legitimate military task of burning away thick shrubbery along the border with Hezbollah fighters sometimes hide. The weapon will not be used again. Why? You don't ever have to hand it to the IDF? I'm not handing it to the IDF. I'm handing it to dudes. God forbid people do anything these days, honestly. Okay. That. Okay. Fuck me, I'm tired. Don't actually fuck me, chat, okay? Your mom already took care of that for me. No need to double dip. What the fuck is this? Okay, can somebody explain this to me? -2? Wow. Russian Telegram channels report long lines by many currency exchange points in Russia. They appeared after reports that Moscow Stock Exchange will stop trading in dollars and euros when the U.S. introduced new sanctions. Russians want to buy dollar while it's cheaper, as many of them are convinced the exchange rate will be worse tomorrow. Uh-huh. Okay. Russian media reports that websites of several large Russian banks are not downloading or not allowing clients to log in. Oh, hold on now. So this is essentially a bank run, kind of like a bank run, except for currency exchange. Are there new sanctions that have been 18 hours ago? U.S. expands Russian sanctions. Targeting Chinese-based companies selling semiconductors to Moscow. Parts under the U.S. Treasury said it was raising the risk of secondary sanctions for foreign financial institutions that deal with Russia's war economy, effectively threatening them with losing access to the U.S. financial system. Man, it sure does feel good being the one true, undisputed global economic hegemon. You know, the global dollar. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It's wild. You know, these foreign militaries, you can have as many tanks as you want, man. The entire world economy rests on the dollar. Ruble exchange rate was the top search topic in Russia. Can you imagine pretending that you're waging some kind of war on the West when your citizens are making a bank run because they're desperate to try to exchange for US dollars? Like, even when you're posing yourself as like the opponent to the West, they're still hedging on that? Jesus. It's a chart of the ruble's exchange rate by the day. It looks like there was a pretty significant fluctuation for a while, but things seem to have mostly leveled out right now, which makes sense. This explains it.
This is the top news story in the world right now.
Is it?
Dollar and euro trade halted on Russia's stock exchange due to new U.S. sanctions. So yesterday, the Moscow Stock Exchange was down over 10%, and it would have gone down farther, but people were prevented from selling. You can prevent people from selling by just not allowing them access to their money.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's pretty bad. I want to know more about the specific sanctions, though. That's what I'm interested in. What like channels are we talking about here? Did you hear about Saudi Arabia ending its petrodollar deal with the U.S.? No. Unilateral sanctions. China said that it would oppose the sanctions. Of course, of course. Paradigm shift. The message here is really one to banks in China and Turkey and the UAE and elsewhere outside the G7. They face sanctions for continuing to engage in transactions with the big Russian banks and other sanctioned Russian banks. Okay, so is the reason why they're not being allowed to exchange the currency because those currency exchanges were being done through a kind of like associate of the bank, or like an adjacent, like, oh, well, we can't do it, but it can be done through a proxy in China or Turkey or whatever, and that way you could gain access to an exchange with to trade for US dollars. And now that these sanctions are preventing that from happening, they're kind of locked out of the market. Huh. Interesting. The Moscow Stock Exchange and the Currency Exchange Office were directly sanctioned, as well as sanctioning any banks that transfer to already sanctioned Russian banks. Nice. Well, fine by me. Fuck those guys. Rip Bozo? No kidding. U.S.-Saudi petrodollar pact ends after 50 years. Interesting. Expired on June 9th. The petrodollar's expiration could weaken the U.S. dollar and, by extension, the U.S. financial markets. If oil were to be priced in a currency other than the dollar, it could lead to a decline in the global demand for the greenback. This, in turn, could result in higher inflation. Is that really likely to happen, though? Like, the Saudis would lose out significantly by pricing it in anything else. You know what? Fucking, we're still the global reserve currency, you know? If anything, the petrodollar was a kind of formality. What are they going to do it in yuan? Rubles? Not if they just threw it in with China. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to do that. Like, that'd be crazy. Like, I understand Saudi Arabia is evil. It would just be pretty self-defeating, you know? Multiple squadrons of jets. Glad we're finally taking this seriously. Today is a truly historic day. We signed the strongest agreement between Ukraine and the U.S. since our independence. A lot of international news today. You know? The agreement clearly states America supports Ukraine's efforts to gain victory in the war. The agreement includes provisions for advanced defense systems like Patriot and fighter jet squadrons. That's right, plural squadrons, including but not limited to F-16s. Huh! Yeah, whatever, man. Just take all our shit. Who cares? We're not using it. What are we using it for? Like bombing runs on Yemen? Fucking go for it, man. Want someone to get some use out of this. So I hear, Subs and Soda. Fuck me, I'm tired. Why do you keep linking this? Who keeps linking this? Vim's Lair, one of the oldest ROM sites on the internet, just got absolutely gutted. In news that is both predictable but also gut-wrenching, Vim's Lair, one of the oldest and longest-lasting ROM sharing and emulation sites on the internet, has been forced to remove hundreds of ROMs and game postings at the request of multiple parties. On behalf of Nintendo, Sega, Lego, and the ESA. While most of these games and the hardware to play them haven't been sold in decades, ultimately it's their prerogative, so these games are now gone for good. Obviously, this isn't actually going to prevent any of those games from being, you know, torrented. But, yeah. As ever, on the wrong side of history. Oh, yeah, it's hosted elsewhere, for sure, for sure. Russia threatens nukes over F-15, shocker. They mad. Ooh, they mad. Why don't they just put the games up for sale again? Because they don't make them. They don't physically make the games. Like there isn't an official Nintendo sanctioned factory producing Game Boy Advance game cartridges anymore. That'd be a waste of their time and money. Now, if you mean why don't they like emulate all of them officially, then the answer to that one is because they don't want to give you a bunch of basically free entertainment, you know? Because they hate you, you see. All right. God help me, I was trying to hold off on this one. You know I can't actually watch this, right? Like, there's no way I'm allowed to. The Donald Trump interview. This is Logan Paul, right? Not Jake Paul. Isn't Logan Paul the one who tried to, like, improve his career image after the whole Suicide Forest thing by, like, insincerely pandering to social progressivism? He did, like, the Black Lives Matter bit. Well, if it isn't the Blowjob Brothers. Yeah. Didn't Logan Paul make a cryptocurrency scam? He's done a lot of stuff, you know? Well, Jake Paul is the boxer, right? And he seems to be the stupider one. They both box. Okay, they both box. You shouldn't wear a white formal t-shirt, or not t-shirt, a white formal shirt, the formal suit and no tie.
Biden is just so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country.
You should make a diss track on him.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Do you think that you're starting to soften your views on some of the networks that you may have not gotten along with in the past?
No, they're fake news.
If you had a street fight this...
Nice. Logan is big in wrestling, though. Why is this edited like a TikTok? It is literally the Logan Paul podcast. Ain't no way this guy got Donald Trump skull emoji. Trump giving you his own mugshot and a shirt is priceless. You know what this says to me, folks? I'm not going to lie. I like this. Admittedly, you know, Logan Paul's fans presumably getting pushed right by being shown what a cool guy Donald Trump is pretty bad. It does come, yeah, desperation. You going to say desperation? I was going to say desperation. I just took long enough to say it that chat already said it like 50 times by the time I was about to get the word out, so it sounded like I was copying chat rather than it being the initial point I was trying to make. Yeah. It's desperate. Do you think that Donald Trump wants to be here? Donald Trump is like a big Manhattan business boy power broker. You know, he doesn't want to be with these millennial Zoomer TikTok dab, you know, this isn't his environment. You already said he was desperate before, too. I'm going to keep saying it if he does desperate shit.
Past week.
And how did it work out?
How you think, Mr. President?
I think you probably did pretty good. I've watched enough of you fighting.
Unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
It's very possible. Really powerful stuff. AI. They made it.
Nice. Trump's advice for people, drug crisis, and Trump plugs Mike's book. Does Trump believe in aliens? Logan invites Biden on the podcast in front of Trump. This is significantly sadder than the Joe Rogan bit. Did Donald Trump go talk to Joe Rogan? I forget. Genuinely, I forget. Did he talk to Joe Rogan? No? Where is Joe Rogan? Why don't I hear about this guy anymore? Is he gone? Did the Spotify deal move him into irrelevancy the same way that like Ninja moving on to that other streaming site removed him? Joe Rogan talked shit about Robin Williams recently? Why? You want attention? You're thinking about Trump talking to Tim Pool? No, I'm not. I'm thinking, did he talk to Joe Rogan? And chat's answered my question. This is so much lower than that. Elon Musk and Trump's relationship.
Maybe Elon could get you guys there. You a fan of Elon Musk?
I think Elon might be good for this question. He's a terrific. You know, I looked at the ship that went up, the spaceship, and I never saw this before. I saw this is like 2 years ago.
What?
I see the motors coming down, the engines coming down, no wings, no anything, and then I say, what is going on?
Yeah.
And nobody ever saw that before. And if you didn't have him, you probably wouldn't be seeing it. And I called him. I said, "What's that?" He says, "Well, we want to be able to reuse
rocket?
the engines." I said, "They don't have wings. They don't have anything, and they're landing on a platform in the middle of the ocean." I said, "How cool is that?" I thought I saw it all, but that was. No, he's he's a spectacular guy.
Well,
Ooh. That's interesting, actually. Donald tends to hold a grudge. He doesn't like Elon, or at least he didn't like Elon in the past. I wonder what changed. Is that a desperation thing? Did he forget? I don't know. Nah, it's pretty cool, TBH. Yeah, it's just that historically, Donald Trump has not really been excited by or interested in the majesty of the universe, you know? We already have that weird thing where Elon was at a Trump fundraiser thing and didn't give him any money. Yeah, we still don't know the real story there. That was weird. I don't know. Man, I really wish I could watch this whole thing. To be honest, it probably wouldn't be very interesting. Who's this guy? Logan and this guy wouldn't, there's no incentive on their end to like actually provide a compelling interview or ask questions. It's just about like engagement from a bunch of young people. So it's about getting a bunch of like, no cap, can't believe he said that reactions. Trump is way more charming than I thought he was, and he seemed genuinely tuned in and interested in Logan's response to him. He was on TV for decades. He is a reality TV show host. This will go down as one of my favorite interviews with President Trump, the real Presidente. Make America Great Again. Yeah. Not a fan of these guys, but I came here for the Don Trump 2024, baby. I wonder if this is going to have a significant impact on, like, any major voting demographic. I have no idea. I already did waffles for dinner. 12-year-olds? Yeah, I guess. When's the Kai CNET interview? Does Kai have a podcast? Flip a coin on who Trump will have a podcast with next, Joe Rogan or Andrew Tate. There's a problem with those two. Logan Paul, and I know we're operating in a pretty skewed standard here. Logan Paul is a halfway normal person. Halfway. Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate are both incredibly weird and don't like showboaters because they're the showboaters, you know? Like Joe Rogan and they have their like little personality cult, and it is way more, yeah, their personas, and it's way more like, I don't know, sensitive to an outside influence. I think it's also an ego thing, you know? Logan Paul probably has a huge ego, but like the way you handle that as a younger person, I think, is very different. You don't get quite as snooty. Remember Jamal Bowman's opponent? I always forget his name. In the interview, not the debate that we watched just last night. And anytime he got even slightly talked over, Latimer, thank you. Anytime he got even slightly talked over, he like freaked out. Really, really, really funny. What's more pathetic, Trump on Tim Pool or Logan? Logan. Because with Tim Pool, it looks like they literally were like, okay, you're gonna be here. Your flight arrives here. You have a free hour. Do you want to do like an hour interview while you have time at the convention? We've already set up a room. Literally just dip in here, then leave. I get that, you know? But this, I mean, this is their set. I mean, Trump showed up for this, you know? Tate went crazy on Twitter today. You and your brother after burning $150 million on Daddy Coin. Okay. Well, okay. Look at the lack of moves. Yeah, no kidding, huh? Skinny fit really is a disease. Look at Tristan Tate. How are you going to wear cargo pants that are like leggings? That's crazy, man. The whole point of cargo pants is that they're loose and airy so you can stuff like their pockets. Like it's so silly looking. Look at this. Really feminizes the silhouette too. Would you ever guess this was like a very muscular man from this shot right here? Probably not, because the silhouette accentuates the hips. The only reason you can tell is because the damn arms. Okay, so they launched a crypto coin of some kind. Bro, that isn't just a G move. That's a fucking Genie coin move.
Tried your best, that's all that matters. The best is all you can do. If you tried your best, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if you lose if you tried your best. Most people have heard that before.
This looks like
but
shit.
There's a secret to the universe that most don't know. If you actually try your best, you can't lose. Not pretend to try your best. Not try your best 90% of the time. Not try your best with excuses. If you genuinely try your best all of the time, all day, every day, it's impossible to lose.
Was that really good enough to like warrant? This is very embarrassing. Is this like a 12-year-old, like the first time a 12-year-old who was raised in a basement and fed rats ever heard advice? Bro, try really hard and then you're like winning in spirit. Okay. Andrew Tate's daddy token. God, it's so gay. Soars to 300 million, sparking scam fears over pre-promotion purchases. Oh, wow. You're telling me that in the unregulated crypto market, Tristan and Andrew Tate, two guys who have fallen from grace and are hard up for cash, might be using this as a way to extort their audience, something they've only done like 5 or 6 times before? Tate's heavy endorsement and his large stake in Daddy raise questions about his motivations and potential for price manipulation. Man, I wonder if there's anything like innately shady about an unregulated market in which a person who already owns a significant portion of a speculative commodity starts massively pumping its price up. Like, what is the thing? Like, come on, man. This is worth more than certain Silicon Valleys now. It's not worth anything. Despite accusations of substantial insider trading, Daddy, a Solana-based meme coin, has reached a market capitalization of 300 million and is currently trading at 22 cents, a staggering 200% increase in just one day. The market cap has fallen at 237 million at the time of writing. Do you guys remember when people were unironically trying to argue that cryptocurrency could be used as an actual currency? And now it's exclusively used as transparent pump and dump schemes where the fucking valuation goes up and down like massively per. Okay, whatever. Dude, I am so fucking burnt out. I better go to sleep early tonight. It's not just pump and dump, learn about crypto burn. Crypto burn means permanently removing a number of tokens from circulation. What does this have to do with what we're talking about? Yeah, I mean, if you have information you want to add to the discourse, you can just say, like, there's also this to consider, you know? Just look up crypto burn. I just did. I Googled it. I just did. I just did. Of what relevance? Thank you, homie. You think you're my homie? You got to keep these people in line. Bro thought he was on the team. Showed up with a jersey he painted himself. Get out of here. Indiana's joining the shitty states in legislating porn ID laws. This hasn't even worked in the states they've tried it in. Whatever. They're going to go through their own little... It's Indiana. No one cares about this state. Whatever. You know, you do your little runabout. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Bro, I'm in Texas. This shit is annoying. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Close this, close that. According to Egyptian news, Hezbollah's number 2 leader, Hashim Safi al-Din, was eliminated in an airstrike in Lebanon. Didn't Hezbollah just lose a commander like the other day? A senior commander. Yeah, this was from just yesterday. Hezbollah has launched one of its largest rocket barrages in northern Israel since the start of the war in Gaza. After the killing of a senior Hezbollah commander southeastern Lebanon, strike the previous evening. What was this individual's name? Taleb Abdullah. Okay, so they've killed multiple senior officials. Okay. All right. What am I looking at down here? Probably something that's going to be gore. Don't go Sag that, it's Hezbollah. Look, Hezbollah is not good, but right now in the Hitlerite competition, the IDF is winning with both hands tied behind its back, you know. Hezbollah is not currently engaged in the genocide. We'll see how much the tensions escalate. You know, the elimination of a senior commander is bad for Hezbollah, but it could end up motivating them to be a little bit less cautious when they engage in the future. Israel's going for a forever war. Well, remember, you know, Gantz left Netanyahu's war cabinet, right? Like, stupid take, XKCKQ. Why don't you tell me what about it's stupid? Netanyahu's unpopular. The protests outside his, place of work continue to escalate. It's becoming increasingly clear that Netanyahu's handling of the purge of Gaza has not, like, spared him the criticism of the public. So what does he do? You know, the war cabinet is kind of falling apart a little bit. You just keep the war going forever. They're not helping Lamau. The bad end is the one where Israel is motivated enough to actually have a go at them. I'm not sure what that has to do with what I said. I just said that Israel is more Hitlerite than Hezbollah. That's my position. I mean, again, only one of them's doing a genocide right now. They're going to invade Lebanon by August. Seems like an inevitability, since Hezbollah has kind of turned northern Israel into a no-man's zone. Yeah, You know, I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit spooky. For those of you who don't know, on account of Hezbollah's rocket barrages, northern Israel is a ghost town. You know, tens of thousands of Israeli civilians have fled, possibly hundreds of thousands have fled. The towns are deserted. Well over 100,000 at this point, yeah. The IDF told them to go south. And in fairness, the IDF was probably correct to do so, right? I mean, Hezbollah rockets, you know, they would hurt if they hit you. I could dodge it? Okay. Maybe. I really hope an invasion of Lebanon does not mean the U.S. has to join in. No. Don't worry. The extent to which we would be involved, in all likelihood, would be that the carrier group we have parked outside the area would probably provide support from the sea. We would not put boots in the ground. I know there's a lot of cynicism here, but whichever president, be it Biden or Trump, put boots on the ground in Lebanon or even Israel, it would be so momentously unpopular. Look, Hezbollah would have to 9/11 us in order for the public's anger to reach a point where that could happen, you know? Well, we don't like Hezbollah, okay, Comrade Robin Hood. But yeah, no, we certainly don't want Israel to go fussing about up there. What will Iran and Syria do if they invade? Well, Syria can't do anything. You know, the nation of Syria can't do anything. Not really. The Iranian-backed proxies in Syria, maybe. As for Iran, I don't know. Dude, I don't know. It's all so stupid, man. It's northern Israel? Is the blazes caused by Hezbollah? Forest fires broke out in Israel after rocket attacks by Lebanon's Hezbollah. This is why they built the trebuchet, by the way. They're doing a little bit of revenge. Could Israel even handle a war at that scale? Yeah. I mean, they're better. They have more men than Hezbollah does, and they've got better equipment. But it would still be ruinous. It would still be very bad. It would not at all be like the conflict in Gaza. Isn't the forest all invasive plants? I don't know. What am I, a goddamn hippie? You think I pay attention to shit like that? Absolutely wild. Man, I am really, really crossing my fingers for this. This is like, this could be a turning point, you know? Much in the same way that, like, everyone looked towards the UK for Brexit. You know, France after the, what was the killings there? Because they drew the Prophet Muhammad? What were the one that led to a drastic shift in the treatment and perception of, Muslims in France? Hebdo, thank you. The Hebdo killings. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I completely blanked on the name. Or any number of things happening in Germany. You know, this could be one of those like focus points, but potentially one where things change for the good for once, you know? How much new information do we have? So, the man with a very strange head shape, but a good suit, Macron, called a snap election as a way of shoring up voter confidence following his defeat in the EU parliamentary elections. And then, here, the left get their shit together fairly fast, almost immediately announcing the creation of a popular front that gathers all the left-wing parties. Very exciting. Hilariously, Raphael Glucksmann, the head... I'm sorry. The head candidate of the Socialist Party for EU elections tried to prevent the alliance by going on TV to list some ridiculous preconditions for it, but literally no one listened to him and they went forward with it. Okay, I don't know why he would do that. That's pretty bad. Many memes on Glucksmann effectively pushing himself out of the French left. He was never actually in the left anyhow. Okay. It's on the right that things really start to go wild. Yes. So the head of the Conservative Party in France suggested they coalition with Le Pen, the fascists, and nobody in the conservative group liked that. They all hated it, and they immediately moved to oust him, and he prevented them from ousting him as leadership by physically blocking them from holding the ousting vote. He shut down the party headquarters to prevent them from being able to remove him as the head of the Conservative Party, which seems to me like a pretty sort of robust confirmation that the Conservatives will not be allying with Le Pen. Has anything else happened since? The general secretary of the party, Annie Genevard, who had spare keys, got into the party headquarters and managed to open the doors. I can't believe this happened, man. Literally, they needed to have spare keys. Like, literally, like, they were just locked out. Okay. The political desk of Les Républicains announces that they've met, decided to fire Ciotti as president of the party. This is great for me because one like unironic, genuine L for America, like where France is kind of mogging us here, is that our conservatives, even our moderate conservatives, have always been willing to work with the worst elements of the far right if it was even remotely politically expedient. Like even the most, with the exception of very few, like, I don't know, Romney, McCain, and even then, like only barely, like our moderate Republicans are right now overwhelmingly, they're just like, yeah, no, we are like supporting open white nationalist rhetoric and political strategizing, so-called moderates. So the fact that in France their conservatives were so opposed to the idea of allying with fascists that they ousted their party lead immediately, it means they have principles. That's nice. Or at the very least, it's more politically expedient for them to not be fascists, but that's fine. Ciotti begs to differ and says the meeting that fired him didn't conform with the rules of the party, so he is, in fact, still the president of the party? Wait, what? Is he refusing to leave? Ciotti claims that 80 Republican MPs are with him and ready to campaign under Le Pen's banner. Where? Where, motherfucker? Where? I have not seen any of that. Where? Ciotti still controls Les Républicains' Twitter account. The president of the Republicans is and will remain Eric Ciotti. He also had the vice president of the party, Guillaume Carillon, on his side, with Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella. We share 90 to 95% of the same ideas. Further right, things are pretty wild, too. Marianne Maréchal, granddaughter of Le Pen, who had joined Zemmour. Sorry, Jean-Marie Le Pen. Zemmour, instead of her family, announced on live feed she wants to ally with the RN next to a Zemmour who apparently hadn't been consulted. What the fuck is going on in France, dude? This is so much! Oh my god. I wish American politics were this chaotic. Honestly, it'd make for great content. This is insane. Meanwhile, Macron shoots at the newly formed Popular Front, essentially saying that those who join it are anti-Semites. Great, thank you. Classic. Worked for Corbyn. In other wild news, Elaine Finkielkraut, one of France's foremost Jewish intellectuals, says he might be obliged to vote for Le Pen in order to block anti-Semitism. As a reminder, Le Pen's party was co-founded by Pierre Bosquet, a former Waffen-SS. Okay. What even is France? I don't know. It looks like they're having fun over there. So that was 72 hours in France's political life. Cool. Huge majority of voters on the left favorable to the Popular Front alliance. 97% of LFI voters won it, as well as 86% of socialist voters and 77% of Greens. Les Républicains voters, about half split on an alliance with Le Pen. 53% agree. Overwhelming support among Zemmour voters for an alliance with Le Pen. I gotta say, man, the Popular Front is going to have to climb up a pretty goddamn steep mountain in order to compete with the coalition that Le Pen is building. You know? How is France so based on worker rights but so fascist at the same time? Minorities. Literally everything that's happening right now is racism. France has always been the most anti-black. Like maybe I'm overstating my case. France is an extremely anti-black country. Like France's colonial record in from history to now almost entirely just like what if we fucked over West Africa, like constantly, you know. More anti-Arab. You know, I mean they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. They still run half of Africa. Yeah, basically. Just it's all race shit, you know? What happened to Tommy Sankara again? Oh, you know, just a bit of fun. France single-handedly disproving my class reductionist takes. That's why! That's why! You never succumb to class reductionism. Social identity is also a material condition. Would you go to a black man in the 1820s and tell him that, like, his condition is one described by poverty and nothing else? Ridiculous. Obviously, there's a racial element to it, and that is a material force. It is a level to the analysis. Class reductionism is and always has been a way of attempting to sandblast progressivism away or off of left coalition advocacy. Well, we'll see how it goes, I suppose. Good Lord, I'm tired. One moment. The past few streams have been marred significantly by my being busy, which is my problem but not my fault. Unfortunately, I'm just not getting a lot of sleep. I think I'm going to read donations and just chill with chat for a little bit. I've carved out time so that I will be able to stream tomorrow morning, you know, like a normal, proper political stream time. And we can get some real discourse done then. Mario, you want me to do voices now? Good Lord. Have mercy. Let me read some donos. Just relax for a little bit. You know, we can just chill. We can have a good time. More Mario? I didn't say that. I said the opposite of it, actually. I implied the opposite of it. Pablo E. and Zach of All Trades, thank you both very much for the incredibly kind $2. Cat and Grouper, thank you for the $10. The damage done by anti-socks and sandals propaganda is unprecedented in its scale and will truly take billions to repair. And goddammit, you started talking about it, the agony. Yeah, I think that, like, it's a heuristic that people are told very, like, loudly to adopt, and it's one that goes basically unquestioned, so people start to repeat it without really thinking about it. Which, of course, I did too. Like, I'm not saying that I'm above that. I obviously am not. But then you, like, think for, like, 5 seconds. Like, literally, you can Google, like, socks and sandals fashion and instantly see people looking really good in it. It's just about the principle of the matter, you know? What underlying trends, what language are you speaking with it? Relevance, thank you for the 1234. I don't really have much of an interest in the boys anymore, to be honest with you. But I appreciate your interest in my take on it. Benjamin Gilbert Lift, thank you for the incredibly kind $100. I really appreciate that. I want it known I voted against Elon's pay package. Chat isn't going to smear me on this one. What position are you in life where you had the ability to vote on Elon's pay package? Oh, that's right. You unironically hold shares of Tesla. I remember. Whatever, man. It's one of the most overvaluated like shares there are. You fucking sure make your dollar. Back adorable. Thank you for the $5. The superintendent, thank you for the €5. Yes, I'm familiar with Mooncat's video on Evo Psych. I haven't watched it, but it's popped up in the sidebar a few times. You know? Nodding Donkey, thank you for the 5 Canadian. The only reason people want to buy US dollars despite the country's massive debt / GDP is because it's backed by oil. It might be in Saudi Arabia's interest to tank US. Respectfully, I strongly disagree, by which I mean you're wrong. America's massive debt is a selling point. What is all of the debt that other people hold over us if the dollar crashes? The debt that we incur is in dollars. You know, if the dollar crashes, what is that debt worth? Nothing. Many international debts are held in US dollars. Everyone relies on the dollar remaining strong in order for the global economy to tick along as it is supposed to. Saudi Arabia definitely wants to reduce our power over their supply chain, but they couldn't live without the dollar, you know? It's one of the reasons why I've always found it so funny when people are like, yeah, Hillary Clinton killed Gaddafi because he was going to create like a mega currency for like greater or like Arabia. No, he wasn't. That's not how it works, man. You're not getting past the dollar. Smelanie with the $5. Congratulations! Smelanie's Venezuelan brother-in-law is now officially a U.S. citizen. Holy shit, that is wonderful. It must have taken a good long time. Congratulations, seriously, to him as well. Sake, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Yeah, I can understand liability issues with having just a rando guy lodge canvassers, but it's good of you to offer, Sake. 1,000 dumplings the tier 1 sub. Why don't you use your normal Twitter account anymore? Because like it's honestly just not fun. It's just not fun to. Twitter is like at the moment wretched and worthless for any kind of like broader content engagement. So to that end, like why do that, you know? There are people who get monstrously, you know, large numbers on their tweets, and it barely translates into any attention to their other ventures like YouTube or Twitch. So I'm there for fun, or at least for like, you know, contacting people. But yeah, that account just stopped being fun. Who could guess why, you know? Steph's not fluffy. Thanks the tier 1 sub. Love you, Vorsh. Research stream on Israel and Palestine when? Never. I don't find it interesting. Like, I've already known everything. Look, okay? I hate Israel, all right? Everything I learn about Israel is against my will. I don't care about, like, in 1926, this, like, Zionist, like, British armed militia did this thing. And that, like, what does it matter? The genocide's happening now. I wouldn't respond to the, like, ongoing Holocaust by going, like, all right, time to learn about the fucking, you know, Holy Roman Empire. I will not, Rennie Wu. I see right through your transparent ploy. Mm-hmm. Imagine texting me. No, white people happy. Could be missing some important context. No. I don't, it's not always necessary, you know? My arguments in favor of the Palestinian cause have nothing at all to do with any historical argument about who deserves to be there, or like whose land is whose, or what could have been done better in the past. These questions, I have no interest in them. I'm glad other people do. I don't think that it's bad to learn about them. It's just not interesting to me. All of them are completely tangential to the positions that I am interested in, which have to do with the immediate behavior of the actors involved. I like it, Spoon X, man. How do you lose weight without insane cravings for processed food? Malding at the moment. What do you mean processed food? You know, eat stuff that fills you up. Mara91, thanks the tier 2 sub. Really appreciate that. Faux Real, thanks the tier 2 sub. My autistic coworker told me I'm autistic, still trying to process it. Does that mean I have the R-word pass? You always did, brother. We're all autistic. Zach with AK, thanks the tier 1 sub. Thanks for the great content. The subscription is overdue. I know some of you guys are confused. This person said thanks for the great content, but I've actually been sluggish and low energy today. The reason for that is because this subscription happened before this stream began, so they were acting out of ignorance. Semi-Locon, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Bananable, thanks the tier 4 sub. My goodness. Hi, Vork. I agree with most criticisms of the UK and their healthcare sucks, but I moved there from Canada from a lack of healthcare. It's bad but better. Oh yeah, for sure. The UK's healthcare system is 100% better than America's or Canada's right now. I don't deny that. It's getting worse, but it's better for now. Azzy the Voracious, thank you for the $5. Maybe. Bernhol Verts, thank you for the $5. Playing Tomb Raider Remastered since you won't. Since when did YouTube give you the option to generate a thumbnail? I prefer to make my own. It's been like that for years, man. Enjoy the game. Melody Rain and Moose Watcher, thanks to the tier 1 subs. Semi-Locon likewise. Facetious likewise. DeGero, thank you for the insanely kind $40. I had a date yesterday and it was the best first date I've ever had. We're seeing each other again on Friday. Chat, please help me. Give me more luck. Prega. All right, chat. It's still not Friday yet, so everyone prega. Well done, DeGero. Lily Krem, thanks to the tier 1 sub. Sorry you had a bad day the other day. Bionic Meatloaf, thank you for the $10. Something I learned about conservatives over time, they're fundamentally incurious people. Not stupid, but incurious in anything but religion and strongmen. No, genuinely, I agree. Yeah, it's almost impossible to be a conservative when you have like an innate curiosity about the world, right? I think it has to do with a need on opposing order. Conservatives need order and hierarchy. That's kind of like the underlying, that's the system they build things on. That's the framework they care about. And it's difficult to maintain stuff like that if you are obsessed with, you know, trying to learn new things. I mean, are they curious about like conspiracies and shit? No! If you follow the thought process of a conspiracy theorist, you will find that they do not start with a curiosity and explore it. They start with a conviction and then go to places that will tell them why they feel that way. Conspiracy theorists don't begin by having some like genuine curiosity about the world. It begins with feeling this the world is not as it is, there is a problem, there is a secret or something like that, and they then post hoc rationalize it. They find other stuff that builds up to it, you know? Yeah. Many cases, why people are happy. Sake with the 5 tier 1 subs, thank you. WF co-op buttons for Vush canvassing commemoration win. You know, honestly, bringing a bunch of buttons wouldn't be a terrible idea, but it's too late. I would have to like design a thing. No, I suspect not. Delightful of an idea as it is, we'll have to settle for a cheese wheel, you know? We'll see if we win this election. We'll see if it's a celebration we can have. Do you think conspiracism among minorities and conspiracism in the religious white right share the same psychological origin? Yes, I do. Reactionary thinking isn't something like exclusively done by people who are, you know, on top of every pillar of hegemonic power. You know, it's something like the black conspiracy theories about like Hotep's, we were Egyptians, you know, we are the real Jews, all that stuff. Fundamentally the exact same thing. You know, it all begins from that feeling that something, the natural order is not right, something is wrong, and then they go looking for information that rationalizes that pre-existing feeling. I did panic stasis, as a matter of fact. At least I think I did. Everyone does it, even people who claim to be progressive. Yes, to an extent, everyone does. Yes. Of course, you should try not to. You know, you should make an effort to be better than that if you can. What's your opinion on Arabian men's formal wear? Kind of broad. You know, I'm pretty sure that different Arabian men wear different formal wear, right? Arabs in a lot of different countries. Do you mean stuff like this? Because I think that looks nice. We covered that, Asriel Garo. We covered that at the beginning of the stream. It was pretty funny. All the details were pretty funny, I should say. Do you think it's a trauma response? The conspiracism? Not necessarily. In some cases it can be. Guilty Gear anime? If only I knew anything at all about the lore. I will be at Anime Expo, though, so I might actually see some promotional stuff about it. I've never played Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm probably never going to. Just a heads up, the Guilty Gear lore is wild. I have no intention of getting into it. Absolutely none. The Radical Dino, are you referring to the Sun Wukong game? That game didn't really, like, draw my attention. Vosh, you'll love RDR2, I actually promise. No, I won't. Sorry, I really don't like RDR2 from a distance. It could be super well written or well developed or whatever, but I saw the Donkey video where you go into a house and you pick up like cans of beans by slowly reaching out and grabbing the cans of beans, and I'm not playing that shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Does my time mean nothing to you? I'm 30. I'm gonna be dead soon, okay? You fucking kidding me? What, like, Jesus Christ. I don't need that in my life. That's literally a tiny part of it. It's an indicator of the pace that they intend to set with the game. Did you watch the Nakey Jake video? Yes. Yeah, I need to play Animal well. Donkey. Donkey, donkey, donk, donk, donk. Donkey, donkey, donk, donk, donk. Can you show a clip? Because that seems like a weird take. What do you mean? It takes a while to pick stuff up. You should at least try it. No, I shouldn't. I noticed that, like, when people make arguments for me playing something like that, they're never like, hey, this is really good. They're like, why haven't you done it already? Like, it's expected to. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you have to. Like, why? You're not making an argument for it. You're just saying that it's, like, that I have to. It's the most expensive game ever made that is both good and bad. Yeah, I personally hate that shit. Bodies literally rot in real time. Are you... Respectfully, are you a simpleton? Who cares? Wow, they coded it. They spent like $100 billion coding it. So how does that improve my gameplay experience at all? Like, I don't get it, personally. I play games to play games, man. I would say if I wanted to watch a movie, I'd watch a movie, but I'm pretty sure that playing through Red Dead Redemption 2 would give me way, way, way more than like 2.5 hours of me just watching shit happen, you know? Fucking... I'm sure it's still a great game. I'm just saying that I don't like the pace they're selling me on, man. Also, I think people oversell immersion as realism, which is just not the case. Immersion and realism are not the same thing. Immersion is about like being placed there, but the there doesn't have to be real, you know? You can do realistic immersion and it's impressive when you do, but like I don't know if it's worth the $50 bajillion. Are you interested in GTA 6? Nope, for the exact same reason. I also don't really like open world games. I also don't really like, there's a lot of stuff. Inscription is extremely immersive. That is true. Have you played Deathloop? Yeah, what a shit-ass game. That game, like, man, right off the bat, you can tell when a game spent too much time cooking in the oven. Okay, does everyone remember the exact moment when they entered the door in the, like, little tunnel that set them in the new area where they're going to do, for the first time, they're going to do the, like, here's a new area, here's the loop you're going to do, right? And then it's like, the loading screen showed like 50 different weird menu option settings they hadn't explained up to this point. And it's like, damn, dude, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Why is every game like this now? Why does every game have like 78 different progression RPG systems mashed on top of a like fundamental why does everything have to be, is there no elegance to the design? It's like it feels like it's just been cooking in the oven for too long. People add too much shit to it. They don't know what to take off anymore. They get attached to some feature and another. It's not good. You sound like a Apple simp. All right, Lewis Angel 44. That's okay. I get it. I see you, man. You've been trying to get my attention for a little while now. We'll see if it was worth the effort. You need to watch Peter Zeihan. When are you learning Spanish? Ibero-American. Javier Milei is going to the G7. Miloni invited Milei to the G7. They'll be meeting at the G7. Monka Giga. Milei just passed his law packet. VP Byrne, would you visit Argentina? Milei was invited to meet with Biden for the first time at the G7. Please lift weights and become a gym bro. Buy a ticket to the DR Panama. Modern conservatives are just trying to keep the system built by old liberals. Are you conservative? Some of your views. You already went to Spain. When are you going to visit the rest of Ibero-America? You are 30? Yo, Ian Koczynski. That is my name. All right. I mean, you don't seem too crazy to me, I guess, in the grand scale of things. I will say, however, I'm going to assume you are an Argentinian. I must warn you, you are the reason why your country's economy is in shambles. Is your behavior indicative of the mental state of the average resident of your nation? What is this? You need to calm it down, man. All right? You're too busy doing tech deck tricks to contribute to your country's GDP. That's why inflation is through the roof. You need to calm the fuck down, okay? What are you trying to say? I'm Dominican? That information gets in the way of my hasty racial stereotype, or national stereotype. So I'm going to ignore it. You are destroying Argentina. And you need to shape up. Rate this outfit. Why do you send me the most like boring shit when you say it? No, when people say rate this outfit, they either send me a picture of them wearing a t-shirt and jeans or like this will be funny and it's just like some boring whatever, you know? I don't know. There's so many interesting outfits there to critique. Give him a water break. Here, hold on. You want to look at outfits? You want to look at outfits? Okay, whatever. All right, whatever, whatever, whatever. Oh, I saw this. This cream linen suit. Whew. Who dilly? My goodness. My goodness. Very trash. Benjamin, I'll send you right back to YouTube chat. Plantation core? No, it's not. That's really nice. Is this Japanese? They love their wacky denim. Oh, that looks like such nice denim. He showed some outfits recently that I really cared for. Where was it? I swear to God it wasn't that long ago. Would you wear overalls? I mean, I could. Everyone's on their big pants arc, man. Look at this shit. God, that looks good. That's a lot of text, Skynet. I don't know why I can't see the specific outfit that I was looking for here. It's kind of annoying because there was one. It's a company that he reps all the time. I don't know why I can't. Huh. It's the goddamn designer. Shit. Where is it? Where'd it go? Why is it hiding from me? Shoes. I can't find it. Annoying. Bah. Elon hides likes, then the fucking fit. Is the search feature not usable on desktop? I don't know what to search for. I'm looking for images. I'm looking for stuff with my peepers, man. I'm trying to peep right now. Whatever, I give up. You keep saying that, Rosie. Thoughts on short sleeve button-ups? They're like a incredibly classic staple component of outfits, you know? Can't go wrong. What are your thoughts on the suits of the NBA 2003 draft class? Is that Lori Lightfoot? I mean, I'd say they look pretty terrible, personally, for the most part, with some variants, but, you know, whatever. I'd love to know your advice on this TikTok, or your opinion on this advice in this TikTok. Okay, what is this? What is this outfit? This is Masayuki Suzuki, and he gives me hella drip envy, but also a lot of outfit ideas. What you think of his fit? I mean, he obviously looks fucking phenomenal. I can't really gauge the quality of his tailoring from these photos, but it looks pretty good. All right, what is this TikTok?
This is going to get suppressed because I'm not going to bother trying to censor some of these trigger words that really upset the algorithm. You're a teacher in a
TW school shooting, okay.
School that's getting shot up. You hear somebody on the other side of your door banging and they know that the locked closed and otherwise darkened room means bodies inside because they grew up with this kind of thing and they know damn well what happens during lockdowns like this. That being said, they're trying to get in. You have nothing to defend yourself with, or so you think, and you know that the second they get in, it's going to be a melee, and most of the kids and yourself, and well, definitely you, are all going to get taken out by this guy. So what can you do? What should you do? Is there any option? Yes, there is, surprisingly. It's not great, it's a last-ditch effort, and there's absolutely still every chance in hell that you're gonna die, but sugar, you're going down singing, and this is a highway to hell. With a fire extinguisher, nonetheless. What is a fire extinguisher good for, you might say? Katie, what do I hit him?
I'm sorry, wait, what opinion am I offering here? Can somebody explain, first of all, I really hate this, like, Zoomer repackaging of Tumblr parlance. I just have to say that. It was insufferable in text, and I really don't like it being said out loud. Judge her maid outfit. First of all, that's not a maid outfit. That's like a doily around the neck over a black t-shirt. Second of all, I mean, she looks nice, but I don't know. Maybe this is like a TikTok meta thing, but it kind of feels a little bit dystopian when, like, you see a TikTok girl and she looks like she's done up like one of those holographic girls in Blade Runner, you know? It's like, oh, you're listening to a girl give an opinion, so of course she's in a maid outfit. All right. So what am I giving my opinion on here? So we're doing some, like, weird, like, kind of edgy, like, yeah, you should fight back when a school shooter. I just want to learn how to kill a guy with a fire extinguisher. That seems useful. It's not useful in your day-to-day life. You will never kill. You are not goated like me. Just killed many times. You hit them with it, I think, is the secret.
Hit him with it? Well, yes, that's step 2. But step 1 is to shoot the fire extinguisher's substrate straight into the face.
What is this?
If they're not, bum rush them with them blinded. And if you don't want to bum rush, that's fine. In fact, it's better if you don't. If you were prime and prosed right on the other side of the concrete wall, like adjacent to the door.
You suffocate them with the foam? No, you don't. Have you ever actually used a fire extinguisher and a gun? If somebody actually busted down a door intent on killing people on the other side of it, the time it took to, like, saturate them with the powder would be greater than the time it would take to slightly depress their trigger finger and waste you. You know? Your best bet would be hitting them while they had their eyes turned away from you. You know? Here's the real, goated, guaranteed effective anti-school shooter trick, okay? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it, okay? They're fucking busting down the door, okay? You're terrified, all right? But you need a 2-man team, okay? You need a 2-man team, all right? So on one side of the door, in the direction the door will open, so the door will, like, block it, you know? You need someone there. They're the bait, okay? Their job when the door gets knocked open, all right, they scream really loud, you know, make real annoying noises, okay? And you're on the other side, okay? And you're kind of, like, ducked against the wall a little bit. So the shooter comes in, they kick down the door, screaming, they turn the doors there, they try to move around it, kablamo, you got him. Guaranteed, works every time. Honestly, I should have charged for that, but that one's for free. So wait, why am I looking at this?
And harder for him to hold on to, which means I can get it away. Sucks. And understanding, there is nothing wrong with the teachers who went down with their bodies in front of their kids. They had no idea what else they could do. They were terrified. They were just trying to get in the way of any kind of damage. That was them going down like a hero with their body as a shield. My point being is that there are options besides just human shield. There's human offensive weapon. And understand, this is...
See, do you see what I mean? Like, the Tumblr parlance? You get me, right? I'm not Tumblr educated enough to get you. Whatever. Feels like theater kid energy. Yeah, it's fucking mandatory, you know? She's trying to give pretty decent advice for a fucked up situation. I don't get why we're shitting on this girl. the fact that you should charge at shooters is like so well known that when I was the police officer at my school told the class that it's not new or edgy information. It's 5.5 minutes long, so she can recite bits. She's doing bits. Now, I also do bits. I'm not saying I'm above doing bits. It's just like, this isn't a public service announcement. She's like, she doesn't know anything. She's just like saying stuff, but she's like simultaneously denigrating it with the maid outfit Tumblr theater kid bullshit. But also it's like, oh, well, you can't criticize me because I'm taking it seriously. It's a serious topic. I'm giving you a serious truth that you haven't heard before. That kind of shit, you know? I mean, whatever. I don't think she's doing something like crazy morally wrong. She's not like a Hitler, you know? She's not a Hitler. Does anybody paint a hole in the floor so the school shooter falls through? Does anybody else think that, like, I don't know, we talk about school shootings too much? Like, school shootings happen way, way, way less than other forms of random mass violence. We talk about school shootings so often, and you've got people sending their kids to school with Kevlar backpacks, and it's like, fuck, man. I'm glad we don't live in the Chainsaw Man world, or the school shooting demon would have fucking swallowed the planet by now. It's just... It's scary, though. Yeah, it's scary, but, you know, you're far more likely to die because a dipshit in an F-150 hits you at a crossing than you are to a school shooter. I just feel like, there's unspoken generational trauma involved. Yeah, but for a lot of people, the trauma isn't a real shooting having happened. It's the fear that a shooting might have happened. My high school had a bomb go off. What the fuck? Like a real planted explosive device? Or do you mean like someone had like a Molotov, or, you know, like, I mean, how I was the IED is what I'm saying. Fart bomb? True. Somebody put thermite in a toilet at my middle school. Oh, I once deliberately clogged a toilet in my middle school in 2nd grade with toilet paper because I thought it would be funny. Then I got in trouble. That's right, I've been a daredevil my whole life. Middle school and 2nd grade. Oh, elementary school, not middle school, yeah. How'd you get caught? Because I deliberately clogged the toilet and then kept flushing it because I wanted to see what would happen. And then, like, I kept doing that for a while. And eventually just a teacher went in there to use the restroom normally. And I was just like... it's just... dumping more toilet paper. It was the perfect crime, you know? I don't know. Yeah, I was just stress testing the infrastructure, man. Whatever. It's all good. Jesus, K-Comrade. Kind of their fault for giving you the tools to do that. That's right. There should just be like a few squares of toilet paper in the restroom so we could wipe, you know, with one, and had no way to like clog the toilet. Pro Begar, thank you for the $10. My mom heard me watching you on my TV in my room and asked if I was watching Frasier. We take those, I guess. Tell your mom I said hi. Still alive at the $5. Do you have any opinion on game collectors? I like to go to thrift stores, swap meets, yard sales, etc. for old games to collect. I got quite a lot now. I'm not really a collector kind of guy myself. I mean, I think it's cool. Hell yeah. I think it's nice when people develop weird little fixations and then just spend a significant portion of their life doing it. You know? Like, unironically, I think that's cool. Sake, thanks for the 5 tier 1 subs. Rate this fit. And it's from my subreddit. Oh, wow. That goes way back. Blorp. Look at that. Good lord. I still like the colors and the patterns on that tank top, though of course I don't have the tank top anymore. But the more I learn about clothes, the more I think that like clothes should literally never conform to your body. Tank tops, shirts, pants. The only thing that should is underwear, and that's not like a visual element. That's underneath the other clothes. You know, the more an item of clothing conforms to the shape of your body, the more you're just showing off your body with paint over it. You know, you're not actually showing off the specific shape or form or anything like that of the clothing itself. Even swimsuits. I mean, if by swimsuit you mean, because like women's swimwear is basically just like lingerie. I mean, like in that case, okay, you know, men's board shorts are nice. Those aren't form fitting at all. But like, yeah, if the item of clothing is essentially underwear, then sure. You have to be autistic, Scuttleboy. It's the secret. Does that go for women too? Look, I don't know as much about women's fashion, but for the most part, honest to God, yeah. I do think it's kind of a really, really big shame that for most of human history, a dress was like this beautiful, ornate gown that flowed from the shoulders down, and now a dress is like a mess of like spandex and cotton that perfectly conforms to your... It's literally like fucking putting a condom on your body in a lot of cases, you know? It's one of the reasons I don't like sundresses that much. Men and women don't look that different. It's not about the shape of the body. It's about the language you're trying to speak. Men can wear women's wear and women can wear men's wear. I don't really see the issue with clothing that's solely about showing off your body. Yeah, but if that's the case, like, you're not really showing off the clothing, right? There's nothing wrong with it. If you want to show off your body, go for it. It's great, you know? But if then the clothing is just something that accentuates your body's form. It's not really, like, you're not really highlighting or emphasizing the positive elements of the clothing itself. Rate Haley Williams fits. This is like 50 photos, so no. Also, I'm not engaged in women's fashion. Nice, Bad Dragon Love. Current women's fashion are also big pants enjoyers, though. What is that damn fucking fashion brand that I couldn't find from Dye Workwear? Laurent? What was it? Dye Workwear. Laurent. What was it? It was like, not Saint Laurent. It was like, Ralph Lauren? No, not Ralph Lauren. Don't give a shit about that. What about... If I look up the word androgynous, would he... Huh. These are nice. Gracia Ventus. Some really, really good... Here we have the House of Harkonnen. Some really good shit. I'm trying to find what that damn... Yves Saint Laurent? I'm talking about the like heavy beige layering stuff. Le Maire? Le Maire! I'm almost certain it was that. Almost certain it was that. Hold on. These motherfuckers have their shit on. They're in on that layering, man. God damn. They know what they are doing. Here, hold on. Le Maire clothes. Sounds French? Yeah, probably. Show me some outfits. Look at this shit, man. Don't look at the prices. It's a designer brand. I'm not buying any of their stuff. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Oh, I know wrestling with the gays. I don't make it easy. Way too baggy for me, but I respect the vibe. It's not all baggy. But yeah, I think that shouldn't really conform to the body. Why do models look like they're being held against their will? That's just what models for high fashion are like. They always look they look emaciated and empty. They look like homunculi. The brand I got those big trousers from, where people kept fucking asking me where I got those trousers from, was 7115 by Suzeki. Their shit's way more affordable. Still expensive, right? I'm not going to deny that, but way more affordable. I like a lot of their options. These look better IMO. Well, they're less like super ultra high fashion. I got these. This is what I got. Over 100 affordable? Oh, man. Yeah? I don't like seeing this kind of clothing because I know you can find an exact copy for something 1/32nd the price. I don't want to go off on you on this, but I wouldn't think you're that much better than these brands. Like, don't feel too superior, you know? Like, there's a reason why a lot of this stuff is really expensive. There are designer brands that go crazy with the overpricing, but there are significant differences in the quality of an item of clothing that, like, it looks all the same when you're seeing it on a model's body when it hasn't been washed. But there's a big difference between a $5, $20, and $50 t-shirt, you know? Just for one item of the pair, Divini. Man, they love their beige. What the fuck? Well, of course there's a profit margin. It's capitalism. I do really like their stuff, though. Maybe 5 and 50 are vastly different, but a $20 t-shirt and a $50 t-shirt are almost going to be the exact quality. That's just not true. Not necessarily, at least. The question is, like, is the difference worth it to you? And, like, it often isn't going to be, and that's totally cool. That's fine. But, you know, there are brands for which there is no quality difference, right? Like, for instance, if you're buying super crazy expensive stuff from like Versace or whatever, like, yeah, I think you're being taken to the bank a little bit. It really depends on the brand, but there is potential for upscaling in quality, you know? Well, that's nice, 2D Siggy. You'd have to look yourself, Easlet. All right. Fun is like sleepily browsing through shit is right now. I think it would probably be it would probably be in my best interest to get some food and then some sleep so I could do a proper morning stream tomorrow. In the meantime, though, I'm going to send you guys over to Riverboat Jack, getting DLC ready in Elden Ring Part 4. Pretty pog. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow morning, and I'm going to try to bring some energy to the table, okay? That's my promise to you, as best as I can, you know? And I'm so good at keeping my stream promises, as you all know. Take care. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. About what time? Well, if it's in the morning, it'd be 11 a.m. PT, ideally. But yeah, good night.